Welcome to RLR, the Red Leaf Retrocast. Yep. It is our special 10th episode. We made it, guys.
Oh, man. Feels good, even though I missed maybe two.
Almost old enough to drink.
Let's go. This will be a good one.
This podcast is brought to us by David's Tea. Are you familiar with David's Tea, special guest Drew?
No.
No? Well,
no.
If you...
I just drink Tivana.
If you happen... David's Tea is the number one competitor of Tivana, so you should definitely hop ships, because if you order online, there is free shipping when you spend either 50 USD or CAD. And they even throw in 3 free tea samples with every order. How do you like that shit?
I love it. You know, Tivana's getting closed down everywhere now, so I might as well.
You can't even beat that deal. Isn't Tivana run by Starbucks?
I think so. They have this amazing strawberry daiquiri tea, though, that I really like. So.
I'm sure David's Tea got something that can one-up that, no problem.
David's Tea, in fact, one-ups it at least every season or every month with a special deal of their own.
Well done.
How good's the deal?
Well, as of tomorrow, they had one going where if you ordered just a single, 100 grams of tea, you got a free 100 grams or something like that. But that ends tomorrow, and then they'll have another... They do deals like that all the time. Deals that we don't get special treatment for just because we're sponsored by the podcast.
Right.
Oh, gee-dang.
All they help us out is with the RSS feed. So, where can people find the podcast and contact us, Josh? What do you think?
Okay,
Where are we?
Okay, so we are on YouTube and Twitter, and if you have any other medias that you guys are on, you let me know. JD, you can find that son of a bitch over on YouTube at Moose and Spiel, and you can find him on Twitter at BowlingJD. You can find me, my name is Josh, I am on Power Chord, and you can find me at Power Chord Gaming. You can find Drew. Drew, I don't know what your Twitter handle is, though.
It's the same as my Discord, which should be at Colors, but there's an underscore on both sides of the Z.
At Colors, there you go. Yeah. So look it for there, at color_Z_. And yes, it's a Z. I'm sorry, guys.
Oh, it's fine. But we can't forget about our other special interview host that we're missing.
We brought the cardboard cutout of Console Kevin back just for this one. So you can find our cardboard. You can find the real Console Kev over on YouTube and VidMe at Console Kev, and on Twitter at Console Kev as well. Usually tweeting at one of two of us and trying to stir the pot whenever we try to get into debates about video games, as he usually
on Twitter,
does.
That's the best place to argue with people.
Oh, isn't it?
It's the only place. Even the president of this United States loves arguing on Twitter.
We don't need to get into that.
I just watched a video about not all of his tweets, but most of his dumbest tweets going up to him becoming the president-elect, and... The guy doesn't know what the hell a dictionary is or how to spell, man. It was actually really funny. And I know that's nitpicking at a man's way of spelling, but the guy's let's not get into that. If we're not going to get into that, that's not what this is about.
We're only telling the facts and how it is.
This isn't a political podcast, so if it was, we'd be here for hours.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of Kevin, I took the liberty yesterday, upon recording, to interview him over the games and our discussion topic, which we'll get into later. So after each segment, we'll definitely hear his thoughts after that, and then go into each preceding segment after that. So, the introduction everyone's been waiting for. It's our first special guest, episode 10, all about Drew and color, otherwise known as Colors. Yeah. It was his topic. Drew, tell everyone about yourself.
I lived in Alaska until a couple days ago. I've been playing games most of my life. Started out, I think back when I originally started playing, I was playing Halo with my cousin on the couch, like many people did. And I don't know, I've been hanging out with the communities on the internet for a long time now. I stream a lot on Twitch and been doing a little bit of YouTube stuff, but I generally...
And where can we find you on Twitch?
On Twitch, you can find me at Colors, same as my Twitter, actually. So... And you can probably find my channel under my Twitter as well, if you're ever looking for it. But.
Well, there's definitely going to be a description in the description below of where everyone can find you. And your Twitch streams are definitely a lot of fun. And you're on the younger side compared to us hosts here.
I'm the child, yeah. I'm only 18, so I'm a youngin'.
Well, that's not even allowed to drink in the United States. Next year, you'd be able to drink in Canada.
Yeah, I was going to say, not even allowed to drink in Canada.
I'll make sure and I'll hop over to Canada so you can teach me the Teach me how to chug a.
Don't you worry there,
Canadian.
bye. I'll teach you the way. I'll show you the ropes, eh?
I don't need you. I've seen you. You've already shown me the ropes.
There we go.
I've seen it. Oh my goodness.
Well, Drew, the whole reason why we wanted you on this podcast now is not just because of your young age and how different of a gamer you are compared to us.
Although your youthful vigor
but
helps.
the fact that you are a super famous Twitch guy.
Yes, exactly.
That got the pleasure of going to E3 this year.
I was flown out by not my parents. Flown out by Activision, actually. No, I went on a trip to E3 just because I like games, and I really was, and I know it's cheesy to always say, I went to this show for one game, but I really wanted to play Call of Duty World War II, because I do a lot of Call of Duty on my Twitch streams, and I was really curious about this year's game, so I went down. I played other games too, but that was definitely the first game I played.
It's kind of shitty that you went to this year's E3 since it wasn't all that great. But I mean,
it was pretty terrible.
An E3 is an E3 though, so I can't really complain.
It was pretty awesome. Like getting in there, and when you open the doors to the first hall, it was just loud. It was intense, and it was like, whoa, there's a dragon over there, there's Goku over there. It was cool.
I was about to ask, how much shitty cosplay did you see while you were there?
There was very little cosplay, and I saw like 2 shitty cosplay, and then there were a couple really good ones, but there wasn't much.
Fair enough. It's more of a gaming con.
Yeah, I think that it was a rough show, and if you ever wanted to get into that, why it was rough, that's its own conversation. But they did not do good with
I think
E3.
Yeah, we already went through E3 like an episode or 2 ago.
Ooh, it was intense. I skipped the last day just to go to Universal Studios, so
That sounds worth it in itself.
It was pretty awesome.
Well, what you been playing lately, Drew? Besides the games for the podcast, of course.
I just moved, so I have been pretty much stuck on my Switch or a couple games I have on my MacBook.
Yes,
I've been able to play on Steam and Bejeweled. So I've been revisiting older games. Besides the stuff on the podcast, I've been playing, Left 4 Dead 2. Played one
older
of
games.
People from another older games. Older games for me. Left 4 Dead 2. That's an old game for me, at least in my memory. It feels old. Not old games. I've been playing Left 4 Dead. Retrogaming into Schoolgirls, which isn't old either, but I've been playing a lot of the games on Switch that they brought back, like the old Street Fighter 2. So many names are escaping me right now. But
all the Neo Geo ports.
Neo Geo ports, yeah. A lot of Neo Geo ports on my Switch because they're cheap and there's nothing else to play on my Switch. So,
have you played Waku Waku 7?
No, I have not.
That's the goofiest Neo Geo fighting game out there, and it's really good.
I'll have to check it out. But yeah, I've just been waiting for my big consoles to come. So, we played Legend of Zelda as well. Breath of the Wild again.
Wow.
Yeah, I was looking at
that game.
The Master Quest or whatever the fuck it's called looks really interesting. So I
haven't gotten that yet. I really need to get that. So yeah, just not much. It's been a very non-gaming time for me on the move. Little bits of games, but lots of just Netflix and stuff. So
I hear you. Yeah. Josh, how you doing? What you been playing? What you been doing?
So I've been really busy. And I know it's only 6 games, but trying to get these 6 games in was really tough lately. As you know, I do a lot of streams now on YouTube for Final Fantasy. I'm on my personal quest to beat every one of them. And it's going really well so far, plus also trying to get ready for school and looking for places to move and stuff. It's been a tough time for games at the moment, but other than streaming Final Fantasy, I replayed and beat Metal Gear within like 3 hours. Metal Gear Solid. I gotta clarify that one. I beat Metal Gear Solid. I've been dabbling in Persona 5. I've just been playing a lot of games that I've beaten before and just kind of reliving a lot of memories. Oh, and I'm also playing Majora's Mask. That's one of the games I have to play and beat at least once a year. So now with Final Fantasy VIII, since, oh my god, that game was so incredible.
I'm also a big Final Fantasy VIII fan myself.
Oh my god. Now that's an old game, not Left 4 Dead 2.
That's just me tired, alright? Left 4 Dead. Alright. Are you playing Majora's Mask on the 3DS or are you playing the original?
The 64 / GameCube port. I don't have a 3DS.
Right.
So
okay.
I'm doing
They're
that.
different. They're very different games because of the timer. Because of the timer, it actually changes. Since you have a saving system in Majora's Mask, the timer isn't as scary as it is in the originals.
Huh.
So
it's a lot.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I could beat the shit out of that game anyway, so you can time me all I like.
So, probably.
So that's what I've been up to, playing a bunch of actual older games around my age, and just trying to get ready for the grind at the end of the year. You know how it is.
Absolutely.
When did Left 4 Dead 2 come out?
Oh shit, I don't know. But I just looked up, and Final Fantasy VIII came out in 1999, so... And then Final Fantasy VII, the one I'm playing now, came out in 97, so...
It was almost a decade old. It came out in 2009.
No, wait, what?
Left 4 Dead 2 came out in 2009.
Oh, yeah, it's not that old of a game.
So it's not that old, but it's not a game I've picked up in a little while, so...
Fair enough. JD, man.
In that sense, the word.
JD,
Hi.
what have you been up to, man? I heard you heard some shit's been going up for you.
Whew. Yeah, so for those that have been at least close to me know that my summer has been quite awful.
Yeah, dude, that sucks.
A lot of financial dealings, you might say. A lot of stressful work situations.
And that's
with
all,
what I do for a living, and
that's all like small changing it too.
Yeah, I mean, it's better I don't go into detail of it. I mean, it is my personal life.
Absolutely,
but
don't do that.
Things are definitely looking up. Everything's squared out again, with the exception of my computer battery now has totally taken a shit, but that's the least of my worries. I'm about to go on vacation to Aruba, and I leave on Friday.
Nice. You better listen to that Kokomo song, and only the Kokomo song while you're down there.
I just recorded the anime podcast, and as soon as I mentioned that, another podcaster immediately hit that song. Yeah, I'll probably bring my 3DS and Vita along with me, and I'll read probably a couple mangas I've been wanting to dive deeper into.
Yeah.
They're called Seven Seeds and Berserk.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone's heard of Berserk.
I've heard of Berserk.
Oh my gosh.
Now, Berserk is actually an old anime, but
is this
I've heard
gonna
of
be a
it.
thing, Josh? Is this gonna be a thing?
Well, I mean, I gotta have a thing with everyone, right? So.
Well, okay.
No, I'm just kidding, though. But it actually is an older anime. Like, a friend from work was telling me about Berserk. He's like, yeah, it came out in the 90s. I was like, oh shit, that is an old anime. What the hell?
Yeah, it came out in 97, and that's the only one that will come out that I will admit to.
So
yeah, I'll probably dive into finally getting around to play A Link Between Worlds on the 3DS.
Hey,
that's a good one. That's
I've been meaning. I've had it for a while, and I just haven't gotten around to playing it yet. And that seems like a good time, since I will probably be on a plane for about 7 hours.
At least. Hey, that's a good time
for
the
play
Switch.
Breath of the Wild.
I could bring my Switch, and I was gonna bring it, but I got so caught up with playing Sonic Mania and replaying Wonder Boy Dragon's Trap, the remade version that came out on the Switch.
That game, you had me play that for a bit. It was actually really cool.
I'd only played a little bit of the remake because I have the Master System and the PC Engine Wonder Boy 3, and I've played those. So I knew as soon as I play more than an hour into Dragon's Trap that I would beat it within 6 hours, because the game's not that long.
No.
Yeah.
A lot of old platformers that are like platform adventure games really aren't that long.
Oh, as soon as the trick is as soon as you find the extra hearts, and you start upgrading your equipment and know where to go to get it.
Yeah,
the game becomes increasingly more and more easy. But it's still, if you play the game without knowing what's in front of you, you're gonna get punished hard, and that's what I really appreciate about it. It's one of my favorite games for the Master System. It looks even better on the PC Engine, and the art designs and the new music and the new mechanics of the remake are all fantastic. I can't speak highly enough about the game.
It just, in essence, it looks charming. It's like a charming little game that they brought to the Switch.
Oh, it's adorable, and the best thing you can do is if you click the the R2 button equivalent on the Switch. I think that's the ZR.
Yeah, the ZR.
You can switch between the retro and modern version of the game.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I love games that do that, where you can just switch between the original and the new graphics.
And that's
Halo did that recently.
And
that comes to mind.
Halo 2 did it the best with the anniversary because it was instant, and it changed the sound, the visuals. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Other than that, that it's a good segue to what I've been doing besides gaming, and that was a lot of bowling tournaments. I just went to one in Windsor last weekend.
I got to see my friend.
Some gambling town above Detroit, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that's typically how they would describe where I live.
You bowl?
Yeah, I was in a.
Told me about this.
Yeah, I was in a pro amateur tournament in Windsor over the weekend, and if I did well enough, I will qualify for the provincials, which will be on TV in Canada next May. So we'll see how I did. And then in between, I got to see my buddy Josh here, and we played some games ourselves, didn't we?
Oh hell yeah, we did! Oh my god, the last day in Windsor was hilarious.
Yeah, so the first day we just kind of got drunk and hung out and caught up, and then the second day played some Mario Kart Deluxe with a bunch of his friends.
Well, that was unexpected too. That was not planned. I had a buddy of mine call me, and I haven't spoke to him since I speak to him often, but he's never called me on the phone. So I was like, what the hell's going on? So he calls me. I don't even say hello or anything. I go, what the fuck do you want? He doesn't even answer. It's a friend I haven't spoke to for 5-6 years. Answer the background. He goes, I want you, bitch. And I was like, oh my god, is that my friend? Is that my friend? So I was like, holy shit. Yeah, it's an interesting little group of friends I have. So I ended up inviting them over because I haven't seen them in 5-6 years, and I was like, god damn, it's good to see everybody. But I have this friend coming over from Toronto, and he's bringing a 3DO, and everyone's like, what's a 3DO? And I was like, it's a giant VCR with a DVD slot in it. It's really cool. The graphics suck, but it's really cool.
Wow.
I don't care what anybody says. The football game was the best one.
I don't know. The original FIFA International Soccer with all the cheat codes on was fantastic.
No, soccer was great.
Drew, let me tell you.
Okay.
Some of the cheat codes we put into this FIFA game was all the people in the game now have their shirts off and they look like giant hunks, like handsome dudes, just totally jacked on the field.
Nice.
When the guy gets the ball, he becomes 3 times the size as every other player on the field. Then we later change it to all the players look metallic.
Uh-huh.
That was interesting.
Then it was laser balls.
That was even funnier.
Where as soon as you kick the ball, it's just a laser shot basically into the net, impossible to block. So you can shoot from midfield, and it's a goal.
Dude, fucking my friend James took a shot from his net and scored. Right? Jeez.
But the best cheat code we put in involved, it was called Hot Potato. Josh, what is hot potato?
Hot potato? We didn't understand what the hell hot potato was for the longest time. So what happens is this cheat code, it'll make the ball get really big, and then everyone who's near the ball flies away. We didn't know what the hell was happening. All we heard every once in a while was and then people just fly away. We're like, what the fuck is going on? It's every 10 or 15 seconds here, and all these players to fly away. Oh, it was so freaking funny.
What happens is the ball gradually gets bigger in size with every pass. And then once it reaches a certain size, you hear the alarm that goes off, and the ball will explode and kill everyone on the field.
It's so funny.
Temporarily.
There are only 2 games I've ever used cheat codes on, because I never really cheated or used those codes in the games I played when I was younger. But I did use cheat codes on 007 GoldenEye on the 64.
As everyone
with the paintballs and the giant heads, which is pretty awesome. And then GTA 3. I used the random cheat codes that you had in there as well. Those were the only 2 games I ever used cheat codes on.
Oh my god, and the 3DO was just littered with them. The football game, we made the ref microscopic.
Oh, it was so funny. You just see a football running on the field. Also,
so funny.
If you ever play that game, if you ever have the chance to play that game, just run the ball. They can't stop the run. I returned a kickoff for 70 yards before I got caught.
Jeez.
And it was just like, oop, can't touch me. Oop, can't touch me.
That sounds great. My dad is a ridiculous soccer fan, so whenever we hang out, he always has at least one of the FIFA games, and we always play FIFA.
Nice.
And it's really a 50-50 chance. It's gaming skill versus soccer knowledge. So it's quite the battle that we always have. So
that's nice about sports games, but sports games are getting a little ridiculous with their online play anymore.
Yeah, the online play and the microtransactions. And
oh, speaking of that is a great segue. Josh, what are we doing on this podcast episode exactly?
I'm glad you guys picked up on that, because the discussion that we're going to go over is microtransactions in gaming. And like, it's honestly, in my opinion, it's ruining a lot of skill levels and a lot of skill caps for a lot of the games. Like in hockey, I could have like this vast wealth of hockey knowledge, but I can get beat by a guy who spent $100 to get these 90 rating players on their team, where I could have all the but like passing percentage, hits, shots on net, saves, and all that crap. I can have that higher, but he just has better players because he bought his team. So things like that are really ruining a lot of online games. And I say that because like most online games played nowadays are either shooter games, like your Call of Duties, your Battlefields, and your sports games, so your FIFA, Madden, and your NHLs.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of that stuff is really ruining the online community, because it's making them so that you don't have to play better, but if you have a bigger wallet, then you just win. But it's also
two of my favorite franchises have recently gotten infected with this play style of pay to win.
Which ones?
Halo being one, which isn't exactly pay to win, but there are microtransaction systems that can be quite annoying if you're playing in the war zone. And then Call of Duty introduced the supply drop system.
Really?
In Advanced Warfare, actually, yes. And Activision, with all of their games now, they've backed off to cosmetic-only supply drop, except for Call of Duty, which has had a really rough go with their supply drop systems because they keep adding stat-based weapons to the game.
Yeah.
And they're really difficult to get. And it's actually really scummy, some of the stuff they've done with the supply drops in Call of Duty, but there are a lot of situations where, a lot of these people have just a better gun than you, and they will destroy you because they have that gun. So
yeah, I mean, this stuff like that, like just microtransactions themselves are really ruining the gaming industry as it is, I find, because not only are you locking people away from stuff that should automatically be received for not only doing, like, get a sweet achievement, unlock this gun, or go on a 25 player kill streak, you get this perk, or, like the biggest one we have on here is Evolve. For example, Evolve came out with barely anything, and they said, hey, by the way, there's gonna be a ton of shit coming out. If you don't buy it, you don't get to play it. Now, not only did
so I'm gonna derail you here. That's just a taste of what we're gonna get into for the discussion later. For the rest of the episode, we finally have some community questions that have come our way.
I've been
so
waiting
we're gonna
for
answer
these.
some of those.
Awesome.
Yeah, just to get back on track here, the microtransactions is definitely something we're all passionate about, and that was just a taste of what we're going to talk about here
here
later.
We're all really passionate about what they've done to our favorite franchises.
Yeah, and then when we're done with that, our retro theme is what we're going to talk about, as is every podcast, the whole point of it, and the suggestion was by Drew here, which is the focus on modern games, but putting a retro twist. So what we mean by this is we pick a modern game that's super hyped or popular right now, such as Call of Duty, and then we pick a retro game that it kind of reminds us of. Just, some of them are a stretch, but it was a very interesting topic, and just a way to get some games that we wouldn't normally play, and that's kind of the point.
I believe
they also sparked a lot of just interesting thoughts about evolution in the game industry and how far we've come.
I believe there was only one game on this list that we have that I did not agree with, but we'll get into that in just a second.
I'm curious now which game that is.
We'll definitely go into why.
You'll have to wait.
I had a similar reasoning with Kevin.
I might
it's
agree
definitely
on
because
this
of me.
reasoning.
So we have our first 5-star review, guys.
Yay,
and
we're
again,
popular.
If anyone wants to leave us a review, we will read it because we love feedback. It doesn't have to be 5 stars. We prefer a 1 star that gives us feedback than a 5 star that just says great podcast.
Yeah, so give us 1 stars, everybody.
But if you
want 1 stars.
But if you do give us those sweet 5-star review like this person did, I will personally come to you and give you a nice wet granny cheek on the forehead.
That is a promise.
That is a power cord guarantee. Delivered with 2 easy payments of $38.75
Canadian.
So that's like $10 everywhere else.
Oh boy. You're really hyping up the Canadian dollar all of a sudden.
Oh my gosh. What you want him to do is send the money in American currency so you get more Canadian.
Exactly.
Nah, he wants British pounds.
Yeah, I want the quid.
That's what he wants. Yeah. All right, so this review is brought to us by Semibolt. Long time listener, probably one of our most avid listeners, I might say. Great anime and gaming cast with likable hosts.
Yay!
Since this is now an anime and gaming podcast that have different hosts, except one guy, I'll review each accordingly. So I'm just going to focus on the gaming one. If you want to hear the anime one, I actually just recorded the latest anime podcast, episode 6, and you'll hear the other half of his review on there. Since this is, I am not into the gaming community too much, so I can't go in depth about everything, but I really like this cast, and it's really fun to hear their opinions. Oh, I missed the line.
Yep, you did.
And they are the only gaming podcast I still listen to. The hosts are good, and even if I've never played a game they talk about, it's really still fun to hear their opinions. There we go, back on track.
There you go.
They cover a lot of different genres each episode, which keeps it fresh, and each episode feels meaningful, which isn't required in a podcast, obviously, but I like it.
Yay.
There's a lot of retro games I haven't played, and whenever I listen to them, I always feel like going back and playing what I missed. Plus, they help me sort out the good from the bad. Some quality is really good. Sound quality is really good, and definitely sounds way better or just as good as most podcasts I listen to, which is a lot.
Nice.
It's a short review, but definitely recommend this cast, even if you are not in or out of the community, and I like how both gaming and anime communities are under one podcast. Thank you for the review.
Thank you,
man.
Thank you
very
so
much.
I'm glad
Thank
to hear.
you kindly.
Glad to hear all the good stuff.
Josh is going to give you that wet one on the cheek.
I'm getting it ready for you.
There you go.
Get it nice and wet for you.
You guys are too much. You treat Semi too well.
Somebody's got to fan me down there. It's getting a little hot.
So, Drew, since you're our first special guest, and we have our first dousing questions, how about you do the honors and going over the first community question?
Gotcha, dirty hibbo, or hibo? Hebo. How do you pronounce? In what pronunciation does that I work?
How about Hebo?
Let's say Hebo.
Hebo. Dirty Hebo? Let's say
Go
Hebo.
with that.
Okay. Will VR gaming be the next big evolution in gaming, or the next gimmick that fills us out with the one generation? If I think the best way to compare it to something that was supposed to be the next evolution and turned into the gimmick would be the Kinect.
Yep.
So, at least my opinion on this is I think there's enough money going into VR that, especially now listening to some of the bigger developers talk about it, is that they are being extremely careful with it because they understand the next evolution in video games, pretty much no matter what, is going to be a virtual reality system. And I don't think they really want to burn this out, so that it seems that they are taking it slow. The PlayStation VR release had some great games. Didn't have, I feel like, the push behind it to really get it that big. But every VR game I've played has been fun. I just think they need to find out how to make it worth sitting down and playing, like a 20-hour game. Because VR is weird to hang out in for a long time.
Not even just, yes, but not even just to get the games going, but the other thing that I'll have to argue with that is the only reason I can see it fizzling out as a gimmick is because of the cost. Yeah, you could buy a VR headset for the price of a brand new PS4 Pro. So when it comes to a choice of that, what would you rather have, right? I agree, though, that it could be the next big evolution, but as we stand right now, it's still going to be quite some time before we see any major developments in VR.
Right, and I think the lead developers know that, which is why they slowed way down, and that's why you haven't really heard about it much. Everybody's just kind of quietly trying to find what works for VR.
Every VR game I have played personally, I have a PlayStation VR. Every game I've played, no matter how short, has been a great experience. The only issue and game I've had an issue with myself is Eve Valkyrie, and as fun as it is, it's online only, and I always have a problem with games like that. Playing a game like Farpoint and Resident Evil 7 are definitely the next big thing, and I agree with Drew with everything he said on that. It's definitely the future. You have to be careful with it, otherwise it will fizzle out. I don't think if it was going to fizzle out, it would have already done so. That's what I say.
It kind of has to an extent, but I feel like that's the developers did on purpose. I don't think that the communities burn it to the ground, because we haven't heard about VR in a while.
I don't think it's fizzled out, more or less. It's kind of laying low.
Right.
Yes, that's a good way to put it. So
the developers put it to sleep for a little while.
Yeah.
And I don't want to see it fizzle out. I absolutely love my VR, and I just wish more games would come out for it. Simple as that.
I would love to have VR be the next big evolution. But the moment they have to be like, hey, you have to hook up your brain, Neuralink technology, and be like, you know what? I think I've come far enough for video games that I could just go ahead without this one.
Josh.
Dude, I'm totally
You want to get to the point where if you die in the game, you die for real.
Exactly.
That's what you really want.
I want to be stuck in a game for like 2 years. That's my goal.
Listen,
you want real life Sword Out Online. You want that.
I would love that.
I got priorities in life, man. Like real human beer.
No, reality sucks.
Yeah,
but the beer is good. At least.
Listen, why we play video games? When you get trapped in the game, they just send you to the hospital and forget about you. They pay for all your living, but you get to do whatever you want in the video game. So, the biggest issue with SAO is that everybody wanted to get out of the game. That's what Log Horizon did right. Everybody's like, "Oh, we're stuck here. Awesome, that's great." I was playing this game to escape my real life already anyway, so.
All right, Josh, let's move on to the next question.
Okay, the next question is from Baron Zoltak. What is the current okay, this is the way the question was written. What is the current standing? So I'm going to say, what is the current standing for Game of the Year and most disappointing Game of the Year?
There you go.
And could you guys do a future topic on best worst year in gaming? So I'll address the first part. I feel, and obviously this is subjective, and you can tell me I'm wrong. You can call me a fucking idiot. It's up to you. But I feel the Game of the Year is really a toss-up between Persona 5, Horizon Zero Dawn, and Legend of Zelda. Now, Persona 5 only because it's such a huge following as it is, and because now everyone's playing it. It's not like how it used to be with Persona 4 or all the other, Shin Megami Tensei games. No, right. Like a select few know about it. Everybody knows about Persona 5. Everybody knows it. So if it doesn't doesn't win for content, it'll win for numbers. Now we're gonna go into Horizon Zero Dawn because I feel like actually Horizon Zero Dawn will kind of be a stretch, and I'll get into that into a second. Horizon Zero Dawn is kind of a stretch. Not only was it super fun, it brought everything that everybody wanted for an open sandbox RPG survival game with the whole mix and balance of the caveman, not caveman, but like a stone age and the future with technology, with all this crazy stuff and all the developments of like, hey, maybe we just really reverted back into the past. But I'm gonna say it's not gonna get Game of the Year if it does, or if it doesn't, only because of its release date a week before. And I think I spoke about this with you in person, JD. Its release date was a week before Breath of the Wild, which kicked the shit out of that game. I'm not talking about just the way it was played, but the numbers, the sales. It's sold with a whole new console, so it was a whole release title. Plus, it was something that people have been waiting for. It's a name that everybody knows. Horizon Zero Dawn, it's just a new IP from a don't get me wrong, really good IP, but it's just a new IP. Whereas Zelda's been a name that's been around for a long time. So once everybody saw a new Zelda game, they're like, yeah, I think I'm just gonna hop on that. So. Now, most disappointing game of the year, I am straight up, and I will stand vehemently by this, is For Honor, is the most disappointing game of the year. Okay, I played the beta, which was awesome. That's the only thing I'm going to say for it. The beta was awesome. As soon as the actual game came out, I was like, what the fuck just happened? What happened to the game I just played? Now, it probably sounds crazy, but when the game came out, they decided that they're going to go peer-to-peer servers, which is the worst idea.
Oh my god, really?
Peer-to-peer, which is the worst idea ever, because I could be playing with a few friends, that's fine, but then we get connected with a guy in China, so it's like, excuse me? what do you mean that I have like 3,000 ping? Like I could play this game no problem. So then you get fucked up. Then there's nothing was balanced, and things that were promised weren't included. And then because it was produced by Ubisoft, hey, look at all these microtransactions and season passes and fucking, suck our dicks because we're Ubisoft and you won't say anything. It's like, no, man, like, fuck, this game had so much promise, but then you just fucking, and I'm not saying this as a personal thing. After a week and a half, the player base dropped by 65 to 75%.
Wow.
Of online players. After a week and a half or 2 weeks, that just right down to the ground. And they've already had 3 seasons.
Jeez. Yeah, it's worst game of the year. I would completely agree with Josh that For Honor, I saw it coming from a mile away as well. I saw the early gameplay. I was like, that game is going to be terrible.
And it's not even the gameplay that sucked. When I played it, For Honor was super fun. It's just you can't have fun if nothing else works. Like the game itself, the bones of it, brilliant game, amazing. The story was kind of, like it's like a fanfic written between a guy who wasn't sure if he liked knights, samurai, or Vikings more. But I mean, well, that's kind of a topic for another time. But it's just when the game doesn't work, it's not fun. And then when it's not fun, nobody wants to play it. And when nobody wants to play it, that means it's disappointing. So it's not even a subjective standpoint. Well, I mean, it is. But when it comes down to the facts, it's just, that's what it is. It's facts. It's like when No Man's Sky came out.
Yeah, that game was disappointing.
Yeah.
They just did a huge update to No Man's Sky, though, actually, that added a lot of the stuff we should have seen at launch. And I think it's kind of fun. So
see, but the problem that I have with it though is like, why didn't you release that at beginning? You don't release a game. You don't release a game and then say, hey, don't worry, there's more on the way. Like, just finish the fucking game and say, hey, so there might be this or there might be that. I wouldn't be upset with a game that did that, but it bothers
there's
me.
A lot of games that do that now, actually. that release half the game a year later.
EA.
Well.
So
I think the No Man's Sky issue was the indie studio getting caught up in a big publisher's requirements.
Well,
and I think that was the biggest issue.
Yeah, that's been debated. Drew, what's your current standing for Game of the Year, personally?
I've argued this one with JD a lot, but I think Breath of the Wild is going to be the Game of the Year. Persona 5 is an incredible game, but I think when it comes to what we're going to be seeing get taken from games, I feel like a lot of developers, even Rockstar from GTA 6, are going to be taking things from Zelda, Breath of the Wild, saying, this was an incredible idea, it worked for the game, let's add this to our game. I think Zelda was a perfect game. My only issue with that game is that you might have just broken your weapons a little bit too quickly. And that was literally my only issue with that game. So Breath of the Wild is definitely, as of now, there could be an incredible game that comes out in the fall. South Park might be
Super Mario Odyssey.
Incredible. Mario Odyssey, exactly. I think in the end, if we're looking at like what the big press studios are doing, I think you're going to see Breath of the Wild and Mario Odyssey. I think Nintendo has this year on lockdown.
I was just about to say that Nintendo's got this year, and hopefully they can carry that momentum into the next year.
Yeah. Well, with Nintendo's E3 show at this last E3, and especially their actual booth on the show floor, Nintendo has the decade on lockdown.
I don't know about the decade, but I mean,
you never know. They could just delay their games inevitably, but keep everybody extremely hyped. Just say, hey, yeah, Kirby, yeah, it's not out yet.
And Super Metroid 4.
Oh boy!
You gotta remember those squares coming up strong too.
Game of the year. Yeah. For Honor. Again, I agree with Josh.
All right, JD.
Alrighty. For me, it's actually I'm just gonna go personal, not critically what I think is Game of the Year. I'm just gonna go with my personal feelings.
Okay.
It's got to be Hellblade. That's number one for me right now. As much as I love Breath of the Wild and Horizon Zero Dawn, I got so much out of Hellblade as a game.
Yeah.
And I would definitely go further into detail of that. I wish the title was just Senua's Sacrifice. Take the Hellblade out. But the game is a psychological masterpiece, in my opinion. It's the best game that I've ever played that focuses on mental disorders.
Even better than Alone in the Dark?
Alone in the Dark on the 3DO is just a masterful piece of artwork, as we've got to experience last weekend. So, Hellblade, that's for me. Disappointing. I personally haven't played a disappointing game this year yet, but from hearing you guys talk about For Honor, I'll just agree with you guys just to move along the topic.
A lot of people forgot. A lot of people forgot about For Honor since it came out this year.
Yeah,
February. It came out on Valentine's Day.
Yeah, I had this lingering feeling that there is another game that I've just forgotten about that was worse than For Honor. I can't remember what it was.
I mean, there's always Ukulele 2, but that's not even out yet. So Ukulele 2, not even out yet. Already most disappointing game of the year.
Ukulele, the Switch version. So, so to move along, could you guys do a future topic on best worst year in gaming? Absolutely. I think we totally could do that.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Yeah,
I think we totally should.
Future, yeah.
No,
I'm glad if these people are coming up with ideas, because we're kind of, taking like 2-3 days at a time to like, what's a good topic that people would actually enjoy?
Yeah.
So,
and then we're definitely going to have a end of the year debate as a special podcast
that
episode.
Is gonna be a violent podcast.
That's going to be fun. Maybe we can get you back for that one, Drew.
Yeah, we can
I've got nothing else going on.
We can get all the old games. We can get all the photosynthesis going. So,
so much photosynthesis, keeping up the sunlight here.
Yeah.
As much sense as that makes. From Dragon Dude 2525.
Oh, dude,
what do you guys think of?
You could have been like, "Yo, this lit question comes from."
I will never stoop that low. What do you guys think of the retail release of Sonic Mania? I personally did not like the retail release of Sonic Mania. It was just a bunch of junk you didn't need that was highly overpriced. The game was only $20, and to spend another $60 on the little statue with the Genesis thing going Sega, that's fine. That's not worth $60. Everything else was just knickknacks you don't need. I'm not okay with that. They should, if they were going to release something at that price, it should have included a physical copy of the game.
Yeah, just like I think Mega Man Collection, that game should have been digital only. Well, I realized that the Mega Man Collection was not digital only. I think all those types of games are better digital only. Because they're small downloads, they're small games, and you're not really going to be selling that to children at GameStop,
See, but the problem with that could have been easily, they could have done, like, then what would you do when Crash Bandicoot comes out?
Well, I mean, you can...
Crash Bandicoot had a physical release, but it was also 3 games in one.
That's what I mean. Mega Man had at least 5, didn't it?
Yeah,
but I feel like with those games, the people who are going to play them already know that they're going to play them.
Well, the same.
I don't think you're really attracting
a lot of people
are
on that Sonic Mania train, and I've already beaten the game since its release, and it's quite good.
Yeah, I will be picking that up here soon enough.
I actually got that today. But like that could be like, so what you're saying could also be applied towards Crash Bandicoot. If it would have came out with just a digital copy only, but came out with these little knickknacks, would you still agree with that?
I would not. I feel like with these games, do your digital release, and then do a physical copy of the game where you have your statue and everything, your collector's edition. Mm-hmm. But there has to be a physical version of the game there.
That's what I was saying. Yeah. I think the retail would have been fine if a physical version of the game was included.
Absolutely.
I hate games that do their big deluxe edition and don't even give you like an iron box case of the game. Halo 5 did the same thing. Huge, it was like $230, huge statue, like all kinds of crazy stuff, and then a piece of paper that said, "Here's the code for your game."
Yeah, that is not okay.
Not okay at all.
Well, speaking of not okay, Drew, why don't you handle that next question?
From Beelzeboss, what are your thoughts on Konami terminating Kojima? Are you aware that Junji Ito is booked to be a monster designer for the upcoming Silent Hills game, so Kojima resigned? I was not aware of that. I actually haven't thought of the Kojima thing in a while.
I don't know who Junji Ito is, though.
So, for those who don't know, Junji Ito is quite a famous horror manga artist.
Okay.
And quite good.
Okay, now I'm filled in for all I need to know.
That's all you really need to know.
Yeah, with the Konami Kojima thing, I actually haven't really thought about that in a little while, but I think that entire situation was just depressing. Every day I'd wake up and see something new about it. Konami, there's security footage of them like keeping their employees and doing all these horrible just business practices. And Konami, in the end, I just realized it was a terrible place. I think,
and they clearly didn't want to. They clearly didn't care about Kojima anymore. They didn't care about what he wants to do.
They didn't care about the games.
They didn't care. They don't. Well, clearly they don't care about the games. They've turned Metal Gear Solid into a zombie franchise now.
Exactly.
So,
I was happy that they terminated him. I would have been more happy if he left, which is kind of what he did. It was mutual. Is what I kind of pulled out of it, but. Konami is I don't like them. I think they're a bad business. I think they're a bad studio. Kojima is an incredible developer, and I cannot wait to see Naked Norman read a simulator. I'm so excited.
I can't wait for that as well. You can definitely see a lot of Silent Hill influenced within the game. It's a shame that we'll never get to see Silent Hills because of this. I think in the long run we'll get much better results in the long term, as opposed to sacrificing Silent Hills, as disappointing as that is.
In all honesty, Konami should take PT. They should name it like Hallways of Death and put it up on the PlayStation Store for like $10.
Nah, man, PT is perfect the way it is.
It's a perfect game, and we all want to play it still. So Konami should just release it.
Josh, I got to witness Josh playing it last weekend, and it's quite cryptic.
Yeah,
as hell.
Yeah, it's incredible. I played it tons of times. I loved it.
I beat the shit out of the game. Really I could beat it with my eyes closed, but it was just funny because as I was playing it, I don't remember if it was JD or another one of my friends saying, "How would you have figured that out?" And that was me. My answer was always just Hideo Kojima.
Yeah, there's one piece of photo paper you have to find that's in the
brightness
brain
menu
outline on a pause screen.
Yeah, I found that without the internet. I'm going to completely take all credit for that. I found it without the internet.
Yeah, that's pure luck.
No, that was not. That was me thinking, okay, where can I look in this game? Once I looked everywhere, I paused it, and then I saw it. I was just looking around, because Kojima he's cryptic like that. And I think playing enough Call of Duty Zombies over the year has also made me that direct on where I look everywhere.
I'll definitely be looking forward to Death Stranding.
Yeah,
and more cryptic bullshit.
I want umbilical cord weapons.
Oh God!
I want to strangle people with umbilical cords.
With a dead baby hanging on the end. Don't put it past Kojima.
I want to be like holding a baby by the leg and beating people with it.
Oh my God! All right. Josh, next question. Last one, too.
The next question is actually from the great people who sent us the 5-star review. So it's from Semibolt. What's a retro game you would like to see a remake of? Now, this one's a little tougher because usually when I play a retro game, I usually don't think, it should be remade. But if I had to choose some, I would choose either Final Fantasy VIII, only because that'd be so cool to see all the stuff that plays out with Ultimecia and space and all the time compression and the summons and the combat. Like I think that'd be really cool to see remade. Or Secrets of Mana would be really cool to see remade as well. So those are I don't really think a lot of remakes. I usually like games the way that they're made. It's actually really funny though, because while I'm playing 7, as I see something happen in there, it's like, oh my God, I can't, like, that'd be so cool to see remade. It's not like playing a game I'm not usually thinking, I wonder what this look like a remade, unless there's actually already talks of a remake coming out. So I don't really think about remakes or remasters all too much. But I guess Final Fantasy VIII or Secrets of Mana would be the ones that I would like to see remade if I really had to think about it.
Drew?
I have two answers to this question. One, first of all, being if I wanted to see a franchise kind of remade, I would really like to see the Mega Man franchise be returned with a new idea. I would love to see that game franchise back.
Why don't you just
loved playing it as a kid.
Why don't you just get Mighty Number 9?
Well, because the game's garbage.
No, it's not.
Oh, come on.
It's literally just Mega Man. But the character's name
is
Beck.
It's not as cool as Mega Man because his name is Mega Man,
Well,
and the soundtrack isn't as awesome.
But that's the point. Because he was told not to make Mega Man. He's like, fine, I won't make Mega Man. So he made Mega Man instead of naming Mega Man. Called Mega Man,
and it wasn't as cool. But my legitimate answer to this question, and I agree with Josh that I normally don't think of remakes, except for this one game that I actually still play on occasion. And this isn't as old because, I'm not as old as these guys, but there's this game, it was one of my favorite games on the original Xbox. I would love to see a remake of Crimson Skies. I think it would be incredible.
Why remake it when you can just make it backwards compatible?
Well, because I think that game could be incredible with current day graphics and sound. You know, I think out of all the games, Crimson Skies would be incredible remade. So
would Ristar, but hey.
Yeah, you know.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think I'd rather see a sequel of Ristar than...
Oh, no. Let's be realistic here. Izzy's Quest for the Olympic Rings would be a sweet remake.
Please remake a broken game. Just about any broken game, remake it so it works and would actually be fun.
The Riddick games would be cool remade as well.
How about the Nightmare on Elm Street game we played for the Possibly Terrible Horror Games podcast?
Was it Nightmare on Elm Street? I thought it was Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Wait, is that a podcast?
That one too.
The Impossibly Bad Horror Games?
Possibly.
Yeah, that was a podcast episode.
Oh, dude, I love... Okay, first of all, just want to throw this out. I love playing horror games.
Yep.
Whenever there's a new one, I always stream it. I love horror games, so... I've not heard of the Nightmare on Elm Street one.
Oh, it's bad.
Oh, we did do that. We did do Nightmare on Elm Street, and I didn't understand what the fuck was going on. Yeah.
Yeah, it needs to be remade.
I watched that movie for the first time like a week ago.
You know, if they can remake a Final Fantasy, Friday the 13th game into something actually fun, they can do the other horror franchises that we've played.
Was that a remake or more so of a new idea on an old concept, though?
I don't know. It feels like it's the same game and the same idea, just executed better.
Fair enough.
I feel like you could just put a skin on Friday the 13th, and it would be a Nightmare on Elm Street.
Instead of Freddy Krueger, put the guy from Rick and Morty that says bitch all the time, and then just do Scary Terry. Put Scary Terry in there.
Scary Terry, man, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Scary Terry. Right. Oh my gosh. There's probably a mod for that, and I want to get.
Now we get to move on to the microtransactions topic.
Oh, fun. Man, fuck microtransactions.
Fuck EA, Ubisoft.
Fuck Activision.
And just
fuck all the people that make the video games.
And just because we're denouncing companies, I'm gonna just go ahead and say fuck Bethesda too. But everybody already knows my standpoint on Bethesda. Maybe not fuck Bethesda, but kind of like put in their butthole a little bit, you know.
Fuck Skyrim.
So I got a list. I've taken yes. Coming out with the same game every year, just over and over again, is a microtransaction in itself.
No, Skyrim itself is a microtransaction.
Oh boy. So what I've done here is I've taken the liberty of taking six terrible microtransaction instances, and they kind of all do their own spin on what a microtransaction is and why it's terrible.
Yeah, and the first
I want to ask a question really quick.
Sure.
Is it still a microtransaction if I just drop $200 on it?
Yep.
It's not a macro transaction?
It's a macro transaction. That's what we call it in the business. So,
well, how about this? That if you drop more money on a single item than how much the game is worth, then it's a macro transaction.
Okay, I've done
anything
that.
less than how much the game is worth, it's a micro.
So, you know what? Never mind. Okay. So, as I said before, with Evolve, this is one of the worst contenders for this microtransaction, where they release a game and they say, "Hey, buy the season pass, you get the rest of it." It's like, what? What do you mean? Now, I can understand people saying, "Oh, well, what about games like World of Warcraft or Guild Wars 2 or I don't know about Black Desert Online," but regardless, like our MMORPGs that release expansions over time. Well, when you buy this game, say World of Warcraft, for example, because that's the one I know best. When you buy World of Warcraft, you buy World of Warcraft because you know, boom, that's what you're going to play. That is exactly what you're going to play, and they're going to add on to that. And then out of nowhere, they go, "Hey, there's new stuff coming." But I mean, yes, technically that's a microtransaction, but the difference between MMORPGs, like I just explained with World of Warcraft, when they come out with expansions for the game, Evolve, literally, I believe it was EA that produced this game, right?
Yep.
Okay, so EA literally came out with this game, said, "Here's a game. In the future, this is coming out for a fee," and then everyone's like, "What? What are you talking about?" And yes, they had like skins and characters and monsters and stuff, but like the new shit that they were coming out with, they told everybody right at the beginning, it's not even going to be in the game. And everyone's like, why would you release the game then? Right? So like, what's the point of doing all that?
Oh, it's awful.
Great question.
Just bad. It's bad. For a game to come out and say, in order to play more of the game, like not even finish the game. You have to expand it to the point where the original has so little in it that that's your only option is unacceptable. You might as well not even release the game then.
No, it's...
And that's why upon release, it failed almost immediately.
Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong, microtransactions can be fine. Don't get me wrong, they can be fine. If EA would have come out with this game and said, listen, here's all the shit you can do. You can buy skins and characters for this. But if the moment they come out and say, here's the game, and not even all of it's done, and we're going to have maps and characters and monsters and this and that, then that's just bad business practice. You wouldn't sell me a beer that's half full and say, if you can pay the full price for this beer now, and for $3 I'll give you the rest of it. I'm going to look at you like, what's the point? Why would I do that?
So you can get more beer.
Yeah, but I have it give me a half a bottle of beer for the price of a full one, and then charge me more to fill it up.
But yeah, like more beer.
But I don't have all my beer.
It's essentially business practice in a nutshell.
But that's what I mean, right? That's the whole thing. And whoever came up with the idea to do that is a fucking moron and needs to be taken out back.
He's also rich.
Well, yeah, he's going to be rich because he's the first fucking guy to do it before people came to their senses and say, hey, you know what? This actually isn't that great of an idea. Which is why I'm so happy to see that Evolve is all but dead now.
Well, there's a giant issue with this, is that people, yes, they say, no, this is bad.
But they do it anyway.
But they fuel it. Activision, they made over $1 billion out of microtransactions alone from Call of Duty, Overwatch, and Destiny last year.
Oh my god. Well, speaking of fueling the issue, this is one that's deep in my heart, is the EA Sports games, the Ultimate Team card packs.
Like I was talking about earlier.
Yeah, so this is the more notable thing is if you pay for the packs, it will significantly increase your odds in getting that better player. So my own experience is with FIFA in college, where friends and I would play and earn the in-game currency, which didn't take a lot to get.
It's like win like 5 games.
You didn't have to play the game.
You get enough to buy like a pack then, right? Essentially.
Right, but there were different tiers of packs, so
bronze,
you'd have to get more in-game
like
currency.
That,
So the as good as an idea as it is, the issue became with the odds. If you didn't pay for it with real money, your odds in getting anything worthwhile were basically zero.
Yeah. RNG is a thing.
And because these sports games are so popular, people fuel the problem, and they end up paying money for the Ultimate Team. And EA saw this immediately, and you can't harp on a company for wanting to make more money, especially if people are going to fuel it.
Yeah.
Right.
But it is still
scummy.
Scummy.
Yep, scummy is a word.
It is still scummy at its very core. I mean, there's been cases of kids, parents having their credit cards attached to an Xbox Live or PSN account, and kids young enough and just not realizing that they're spending real money for the in-game currency to get these packs.
Same thing
or
with
just
even
getting
an
the
iPhone
packs,
game.
and people rack up $10,000 just on that alone.
Beat the shit out of my kid if they ever did that.
My brother did that to my mom's phone when he was playing Angry Birds, I believe.
Oh, what?
Or some other mobile game.
We can't even get into mobile gaming. That is just scum market.
That's where all this started.
Well, of course that's where it all started, but to me, mobile gaming is preying on people's gambling addiction personality.
Yep, pretty much.
And
that's what all supply drop systems are.
It should be illegal because of that, but it won't be because there's always disclaimers and everything now. But it's still preying on people's weaknesses, and I do not agree with that.
Yep, entirely.
And that's what EA Sports games have become, and that's why I also don't buy them anymore. I'd rather get FIFA for the 3DO and put in cheat codes.
It sucks because I don't want to support EA, but I love football, so I want to get the new football game just so I can play with my other friends that have the football game. But I'm not gonna. The difference though is I hate EA because they're microtransactions. But the problem is it's a whole capitalistic thing. Now we're gonna get into capitalism because they have a product that I want, and just because I don't agree with what they do, they still have something that I want. So I'm going to get the game, but not going to get those microtransactions.
Yeah. Well, speaking of something you want, is Street Fighter.
Oh my god,
and Capcom and what they've done.
I was so pissed with Street Fighter when they came out with that price tag. I thought, like, Street Fighter, there's not really much to it. It'd be worth maybe $40, $50 Canadian. Then it came out with, what, 60, 70? No, it wasn't like $80 Canadian when it first came out.
No, it was a full price Canadian game of $80 to $90.
Yeah, and then it's like,
that is ridiculous.
For a side-scrolling fighting game? Why? So that kind of irked. I have not paid for it. I still have Street Fighter 4.
Just a 2D fighter.
It's 2D fighter. So, like, I just didn't get it. And then Street Fighter 5, they're online, as far as I know. I mean, it might work now, but it didn't even work when it first started.
No. It was a broken game when it came out. Half the characters weren't even in the game. Yep. No arcade mode. You could only play it online. And if you had a friend over, you could play it one-on-one. That was it. It was extremely limited. And then later, they came out with the other characters, which you have to pay money for. And this is where it gets really scummy. Is they go, no, you can earn in-game currency to pay for everything that way, but they made earning the in-game currency basically impossible
because you have to beat people in a fight to get the currency. And you know how hardcore the street fighting community is.
Well, it's not only that. Even if you win, you have to win, I think it was either 1,000 or 10,000 matches before you can even get a skin for a character.
A skin.
Yeah.
Capcom.
Yeah.
Capcom.
That sounds... Oh my god.
Drop the ball on that one, Capcom. I'll just play 4.
Oh, yeah.
I'll just play 4 all day. I have my PS4. I'll just play Street Fighter 4 Ultimate all day.
Isn't 4 a better game, though?
It's not so much that it's better, it's just it's got everything. Street Fighter 4, all Street Fighter is an arcade fighting game. How do you fuck that up? I'd rather go, I expect more substance
that's why a lot of the this is why a lot of the fighting community has migrated totally to Tekken 7
or Mortal Kombat.
Well, Mortal Kombat suffered from a similar issue with
Mortal Kombat also released
DLC characters.
Yeah, they released
Mortal Kombat. Their microtransaction, and this is probably one of my favorite because it's just so simple and such just a microtransaction, is basically they said, you know what? Pressing multiple buttons is hard. We will, as a microtransaction, sell you tokens that allow you to press both your bumpers to do your fatality. Wow. And I love that. I think that is the most just shameless, like, you know what? We can make money off that, but they can possibly do.
If people want to be a bitch to the game, you can totally do that. That's to me, that's on the player.
Yeah.
Because if Mortal Kombat restricted you from doing fatalities, then that would be a different story.
Yeah.
In itself. But the other thing Capcom is most notable for doing is, and some games have done this, but this is the most notable, is a game called Asura's Wrath.
Yeah.
In which the ending to the game you could only get if you paid for the DLC.
Again, with the
ending to the game.
The whole thing. Here's the game. It's not done yet, but you got to pay for the ending.
There you go.
Yeah, you get X far, and in order to finish it, you had to get the DLC. Not expanding on the game, the ending.
Fuck.
Needless to say, that game didn't go down so well. No.
Not at all.
I didn't play that game, but I heard the roar of anger.
Oh, yeah. So it's moves like this why Capcom is seemingly going out of the fray, and other companies such as Bandai Namco are just taking over all of their customer base.
They're also
and fan base.
They're also releasing those arcade games that people are enjoying. Plus, they're also releasing solid RPGs, which has, as we went over in a previous RPG podcast, it's such a huge market now.
And Bandai has Senran Kagura. Just saying.
And Bandai Namco also has Dark Souls and Tales and they've got everything. Not everything, but they're covering all the bases.
And Senran Kagura. Yeah, it's an important game. I want to point out, Bandai Namco, their booth was right at the front of the South Hall of E3, and I walked in there, and you know what I saw on these giant monitors?
What?
They had competitive setup for their new bikini water gun mode, where you got to shoot the bikinis off the girls. And you know what I did? What? I went and played, and it was awesome.
You and JD are going to be good friends.
No, it was awesome. It was just a bunch of old sweaty guys yelling.
Mouth breathing.
And it was so stupid, but it was so much fun. we're all just shooting bikinis off girls, and people are walking in, looking up, and then trying to like not look at us and walk away. It was great.
It's like, who's the director for Nintendo America again? I can't remember his name.
Reggie?
Yeah, Reggie Fils-Aime, when he came up with the thing for the Switch. If it ain't fun, what's the point?
Exactly. And then you see the ad for their 3D Rumble for the new Senran, where you can feel the 3D breasts while the girls with the new 3D Rumble.
Is that a real thing?
Dude, have you not seen this ad?
Is that a real thing that's happening?
Go look at the ad. They literally show you. They're like, you can really, truly feel with the new Switch 3D Rumble.
Wow.
I think I tweeted it, and I'm like, guys, this is why I bought a Switch.
This is the real reason. This is the real reason.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
And that's in the that's for the new Seiron game?
Yeah.
Seiron? Oh my god. Okay, I'll be paying close attention to it now.
Oh yeah.
So the next thing that we're going over, and Drew, this is probably something you're more familiar with, is something in the case of Dead Space 3, what they did with weapon diversity.
Ooh, I hated that game.
So there's a reason for it, is because weapon crafting is a simple idea. Yeah. It's pretty straightforward. And what this is players collect components, blueprints, put them together, create crazy new weapons. You can see this in another game like Dead Rising games. Let's say Call of Duty with getting...
I think I do want to actually, I don't see it on the list, but I do want to jump into Call of Duty as an example after this, because I think the difference between multiplayer and single-player microtransactions is really big.
Absolutely.
Well, that's kind of where this goes into, is just with restricting resources behind microtransactions.
I've heard it called pay to have fun instead of pay to win.
Yes, pay to have fun's a great analogy for it, because... Analogy?
Yep.
Yeah, whatever.
Yep, analogy's right.
So it's when you make gathering the resources difficult, and so much that you're restricting people from having fun to getting the things that will make the game better. And it's not necessary to complete the game with getting these things, but it is making the game less fun unless you pay for the extra content.
Well, you see, we just need to make gathering great again. That's all we need to do.
Oh my gosh.
So Drew, go into the whole Call of Duty thing. Just
as a little side tangent really quick for Josh, there was actually, right after Advanced Warfare, there's a more, and I wouldn't say popular YouTuber named Whiteboy7 Street who actually started a movement called Make COD Great Again. And it was pretty intense. There's the black market blackout and all kinds of crazy stuff. But basically what Call of Duty did, starting Advanced Warfare, is Sledgehammer Games. By the way, the same people who made Dead Space, they decided to add supply drops to the game. And they implemented it as just, you do stuff, then you get a supply drop. But something that they also did in this game, is that they added something called weapon variants. So basically you had your gun, and then there were different variants of the gun that could have like better range, a faster fire rate. And it's implemented a thing where in the supply drops you could get better guns than other people and beat them. And that was a big issue. But Activision, like I said earlier, made over $1 billion. So they're like, yes, this is great. Everybody's angry about it, but this is great. We made so much money. Same thing, Black Ops 3. They implement a currency system that is extremely hard to earn. And then they just start adding really cool and fun weapons to the game. And they water down the supply drop system so hard that you could spend $200 not get a weapon. Wow. And then even with Infinite Warfare, they started to try and implement new ideas to where, you get salvage, and once you get enough, after like 30 hours, maybe you can craft something, a base variant of the gun you want. And they made Modern Warfare Remastered, which even, again, they started adding supply drop system with different melee weapons and different, statistically differing weapons to the game. Well, they did it the best in Modern Warfare Remastered, where it's really not hard to get a weapon because you can just get extra currency and you can buy the weapon that you want. It still just started this trend of, hey, we add stuff. Certain people, they pay a ton of money. They have cooler stuff or more powerful stuff than other people. And it just made the game inconsistent. And it's a really big issue. And I've seen it happen to multiple other shooters. Battlefield had that issue a little bit. Overwatch, and the funny thing is, all the other Activision shooters, they realize this, and they have cosmetic-only drops.
Yeah.
And that's what everybody wants in Call of Duty, but they make so much money off of Call of Duty that they won't do it. So, and Halo did something similar where they added this like card pack system where you could get special weapons that you could just pull out in game modes in Halo, in the Warzone, and it's an issue. A lot of shooters getting hit with this, where they realize, hey, we can just add more guns, and people will just shovel out money to buy them. Yeah. So that's I'm a little tilted about all this, but it's here to stay because people keep giving so much money to the machine. So
yeah, I mean that kind of the whole everything you said there, whereas like you can buy them instead of get them, kind of draws into the next thing we're going to go into, which is the whole thing with Ubisoft, whereas you can get the items and shit instead of earning it. So it's that to me, like, not even just for Ubisoft. Like, Ubisoft is the biggest contender, and I went over this with For Honor. That's kind of a slap in the face as a player who doesn't mind a challenge and actually get over the challenge, because they're basically telling me that I can't do it, so I need to pay for it.
But it's not just that; it's so impossible sometimes.
Well,
that's what the fun
is. It's not just that. It's also telling the player that this isn't worth your time. Yep. Just spend the extra like few dollars and get this thing.
Yeah, and there's ways that the businesses do scummy things. Like they'll say, "Hey, huge supply drop sale, get everything 75% off, spend all your money," and then the next day they release a ton of new weapons.
Yeah,
super scummy stuff like that. Just I hate that.
Well, I just don't agree with microtransactions in general. Like even like when Ubisoft does your slaps in the face, but like for the next point to make is like with loot boxes in games like Destiny, and for the biggest one for me is Overwatch. And I guess Shadow of Mordor, I haven't played it, but I guess that was a really big contender. But like for Overwatch,
well, no, it's the new one called Middle Earth.
Okay. Oh yeah,
they're doing the Ubisoft thing where earning the content isn't worth your time. Just spend this extra few dollars.
Yeah,
and they're going a step further with making them loot boxes.
Yeah, so they're kind of hiding it and making it that RNG or that gamble that we had touched on earlier, so that you can possibly get these legendary skins, whereas you could save up. Like, I know, for instance, in Overwatch, like a legendary skin is 1,000 coins. Well, how do you, get coins? Well, you get duplicates of stuff you don't have. Okay, then they turn into coins, or you get coins from loot boxes, which you get from leveling up. So not all loot boxes are bad. Not all loot boxes in Overwatch are bad, but you get these.
Can I pipe in on that really quick?
Sure.
So I think Overwatch, how they do their loot system, and again with Counter-Strike, I think how they do it as well. I am completely 100% okay with this microtransaction system. When it's purely cosmetic, it doesn't affect the game. It's just some stuff to make you look unique and feel cool.
Yeah.
And I think that is completely okay.
Well, I mean...
And I enjoy it. I think it's fun opening boxes and getting cool new stuff. I love doing that.
And I'm not saying this is anything against you, but that could be like... Okay, I'm not saying you have a gambling addiction. I'm just saying that could touch on the predatory nature of people with gambling addictions that will spend the $50 to $100 just to get this one skin. So that's why the reason that I will say personally, and it sounds super hypocritical because I don't like microtransactions, but the reason why I believe that the Overwatch is a little bit better, not okay, but a little bit better than everything else, is because you can get these things without actually having to pay. It's just like we said with Ubisoft. Why would you want to take time to do it when you could just get it now?
Well, you can pay for drops. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, you can earn them in game, or you can pay for them.
Well, that's what
But I still think it's okay, because it doesn't affect the actual game.
Well,
it doesn't mean you can't do anything. It doesn't mean you're better at anything. It doesn't mean anything to the actual game. It just makes things look different.
No, and that's just saving time, which is fine, but that's... I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying it's bad, but I'm not saying it's good. I don't agree with microtransactions as it is, but... When it comes down to, like you said, purely cosmetical, it's like, it's not evil, but it's still bad.
Right.
I'm afraid that this loot box thing is, and we're already seeing it with the new Shadow of Mordor game, Middle Earth, that with the success of Destiny and Overwatch's loot boxes and this whole idea behind the chance that you might get, whether it's, even if it's something cosmetic or something better in the game.
I like to call it the adrenaline of RNG.
or just
Yes.
gambling.
This preying rush on the person. I have a strong fear that this is going to be in a lot more future games, especially because there's so much success behind
let me
it.
put it. Let me put it this way. I got a personal example, not personal as in me, but I've got a friend, okay, in Overwatch who spent over $500 in loot boxes to get one skin that he didn't even get.
Why did he spend $500 on loot boxes when he could have just spent that on a 3DO?
Right? Or a Switch, or some VR, or like, you know, all these other things. $500 on loot boxes to get a skin that he couldn't even get, but he ended up getting it because he got so many duplicates and yada yada. But $500, man, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I mean. Like, loot boxes are evil.
I personally, I don't want to brag about this, but during Black Ops 3, as a huge Call of Duty fan I am, I think I might have dropped over like $1,900.
Holy fuck.
Fucking A.
Dude.
Just because, I put like 3,000 hours into that game too. So, I mean, I wasn't angry with what I put in. I mean, there were times where I was like, there's no way I did not get this weapon. But I'm not addicted to gambling either. I was just... I love the game so much.
$1,900 says different.
Hey. I got what I wanted. I was lucky enough. First of all, I'm not going to brag again, but you know, I'm really, really lucky with RNG. I get my stats.
Because you said that, you're going to get fucked over now.
Yeah, I know. Like, I'm never going to get anything ever again. But
no, I am not okay with DLC. But this also may be because I'm an older gamer. Because I see a lot of younger gamers falling into this trap. Because with the older generation, you were always playing games, and you'd have to unlock the extra content in the game, earn it.
That's why I'm not so big. Like, I like my Mario Kart Deluxe, or whatever it is, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, but I was also upset that when I bought it, I had nothing to unlock other than like car parts.
I was too.
Yeah. I am disappointed with what Mario Kart's done with. You just play the game, and eventually you'll unlock something just from playing the game. I know that it's a younger audience playing it, but there is also an older audience. Just make a couple things that once you get all gold trophies on some tracks, then you unlock a new character. Yeah, just something simple like that. That's what it used to be. It works.
That Mario Kart 8 had that. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe was just supposedly bringing everything to the Switch.
Yeah.
And so I understand that. I really wish, though, because the only thing you could unlock was like Gold Mario once you had perfect on everything. And I really wish they just added some more, to be able to unlock like some skins or something. Because
it would have been nice. I wish companies and games would go back to that old formula. It works, and it gets people to keep playing the game longer.
Yeah, but they don't make money.
Even just something simple as making in-game currency fucking attainable.
Yeah, but people we don't make money if they be just whatever. It's
the player's fault. We're the ones who shovel so much money into it. And
it's the companies preying on that mindset, but there does become a threshold where it is the player's fault. And I think at this point, I can't fault a lot of what the companies are doing because we've clearly seen what doesn't work. Companies do pay for it, such as Asura's Wrath. That game failed for a reason. Evolve failed for a reason. But there are certain games that if you keep fueling the issue, then you can't fault a company for continuing to keep doing
exactly.
it. So
I think as an industry, it's here to stay, and I think as the communities for all these games, we need to make clear to the developers what is okay with these drops, like cosmetic only drops, and we need to make sure they all know that it's not okay to bar an ending of a game from us. You're not allowed to do that.
No.
I think as a community, we need to make sure the developers know, okay, we understand this is what's going to happen, but these are what are required for us to still play and enjoy these games. So I hope we all kind of come to that conclusion as the industry versus the communities soon enough. So
one can only hope, right?
So as well.
Yeah.
So this is where the podcast is going to cut to where I interview Kevin over his thoughts of microtransactions.
All right.
So enjoy his thoughts, and when we're done with that conversation, we'll come back, and it'll be the retro theme discussion brought to us by Drew.
Perfect.
Hey, Kevin,
and our 6 games we covered.
It's good to see you here.
We'll hear from you. We'll hear back from us in a little bit.
Cool.
Now, continuing the topic of microtransactions, I have gotten Kevin here to join the fray because it's a special episode. It's our 10th episode, and he just couldn't miss it.
I was forced by I need help. Send help.
Well, we went through the last podcast without Josh, and it was sad to not get his opinion on some of the games, and it turns out, we were wrong on I got Suikoden right on one of them, but he actually really liked Donkey Kong Country 3.
He did?
He did.
Oh, that's... Sorry, Josh.
Yeah. So, microtransactions are a thing that's going on right now, and it's been going on for quite a few years, and it seems to not be going away. And just to bring you up to speed, Kevin, on what we've been talking about, Ubisoft seemingly always has them in all their games, and one game in particular, a new one, the new Shadow of Mordor game, has incorporated microtransactions for some reason. So I wanted to get your opinion over microtransactions, how you feel about them, what companies are doing, what they shouldn't be doing, etc., etc.
I have like a weird love-hate relationship with any DLC, really. I don't buy it really at all, but I remember the first time like a microtransaction was a thing. It was Battlefield Bad Company 2. And as far as I can remember, this is the first time I heard of it, but I lost my hard drive, and I had all the classes unlocked, and I had a bunch of guns, but EA was like, oh, if you pay us like $1.99, you can unlock everything in the class. And I was like, well, that's real stupid, but man, I do not want to redo all that progress, so I did it, and I thought it was going to be like a one-time thing, and like I'd never see that again, so at the time I was like, well, that's convenient for me.
Convenient for the situation.
Yeah, but now it's just weird. Like, if it's like little cosmetic things, I don't really care. I used to bitch and complain about it. But, if you're buying yourself like a hat and that's what gets you off, hey, buy yourself a hat. But when it's things like, I don't know, double XP or like something that like affects other people playing, that's when I kind of have an issue. I don't know. I don't like pay to win. But, like, especially if your game you already paid for it. Like, if I paid $60 for it, you shouldn't just pay to win, because then why did you buy a game in the first place? Just watch a movie if you don't want to do anything. You gotta earn it. That's the difference between games and, like, video.
Well, I don't know if you're too familiar with Jim Sterling.
I do know him, kind of.
Well, he always, when it comes to games with microtransactions or DLC in the first place, specifically in referencing the new Shadow of Mordor game, if he brings up a very good point whenever this topic comes up, and it's, if you have microtransactions and instead of playing the game, you could buy this thing. So let's take Shadow of Mordor, for example. You have these crates that you can buy with the loot that you would normally get from completing X mission in the game. And he continues that point with saying, well, if I could just get it that way, you're basically telling me, the gamer, that me playing the game is worth shit.
Yeah, I remember I was watching it in this episode, and then there are other excuses always like, yeah, it's only optional. You don't have to buy any, but you could if you want to. It's like, well, then why would you make them if I can, just do it? So you're lying to me. Because if I could just get them, you wouldn't make these things in the first place,
Right.
So, yeah, it's a load of shit.
Yeah, I'm not okay with that. Now, what do you feel about how things used to be, or bringing up something, a brand new game that came out, Sonic Mania, where they could have easily have done where all their unlockables, and that's the word, unlockables. You play the game, you get good at certain sections to unlock certain aspects of the game, little extra quirks. That game could have easily done microtransactions or bought DLC in order to get it, but that's not what happened.
No, because you buy a game to make progress and do things. If I just buy all the features, there's no fun in it. It's just like, oh, you could unlock a super cool mode, but we need another $1. I want to earn it. That was half the fun in like fighting games back in the day, where it said you had like 8 characters and it was all over the box, 8 characters, but then you'd like beat the arcade and another character would pop up, and then another, and then another, and you just keep doing things and earning it, and you feel like you accomplished something. That's why I play games. Like, I want to feel like I did something.
I would agree. I definitely don't have the same need to continue playing fighting games as I used to because of that unlockable aspect. And now with something like Street Fighter V and many other fighting games that come out, you have to buy the extra characters now. You don't earn them. So what are you then earning in the game? And it came up in Street Fighter V when that was coming out. The only thing you can earn is this impossible task of earning enough in-game currency to buy the extra things.
Yeah,
which
you're never going to do.
Which in that case, you can't seemingly earn enough money to buy really anything, so you have to purchase them. To me, that's unacceptable.
Yeah. If it's something really, like if it's like a costume for a character, fine, whatever. But the character itself is shitty. And when my buddy brought over Mortal Kombat X for the first time, I think it was around launch day, and we were super excited to play it. The first thing we saw on the menu was buy Goro for $5, and we were just like, we didn't even start the game yet. Like, really? Like,
oh yeah, it's almost on every single game now. You see where there's a store option. Yeah,
and to me that tells me that, especially on a game like Mortal Kombat, that there's inevitably gonna be a Game of the Year edition, even if it never wins Game of the Year. And down the road, I will just be able to have a disc with that unlocked. So as much fun as I had with Mortal Kombat X, I waited till XL came out because I knew it was going to happen.
I in fact did the same thing.
Yeah, like I was ready.
It was half the price.
Yeah, I was ready to buy X. I was like, this game is great. I'm ready to buy it. And I was like, I'm waiting. And everyone thought I was the crazy one in the room. Like, but X is fun. You got to play with it. I'm like, no. There's clearly going to be a Game of the Year option. I'm not doing it. Like, I should have done it with Fallout, but I got Fallout for a gift, so not going to complain.
So how do you feel about companies like EA and Ubisoft then going this microtransaction route in some of their modes? And I'll give you an example before you answer. Is a game I used to play religiously is the FIFA franchise. And there's this mode called Ultimate Team Mode. And what you would do is you would play the computer or people online. You would, again, earn in-game currency to then buy packs. And that would unlock you better guys, other guys, who knows. It was all on chance.
Okay.
It wasn't until later that EA realized that they could make a ton of money off this and just have that whole pay-to-win aspect. What do you think of companies in particular, such as the EA and Ubisoft, that are doing this? Is it a quick buck? Is it just something to get more off the gamer itself? What do you think?
Are you getting those guys in online, or is it for your own personal use?
It's both.
The single player, do what you want. Online, I think that's shitty because now you can pay to win. And if you want to, take a gamble, it really plays to people's psychological addiction to gambling. So it's like, oh, next time I'm going to get a better guy. And it is nickel and diming, and it's kind of shitty. But I don't, for that reason, I've stayed away from games where a loot box can automatically make you a better player. Like Overwatch, I don't mind because Overwatch, you're getting little cosmetic things that don't do anything. But, if magically in a loot box I can get, like, the PFG 9001 Super Turbo Deluxe and Knuckles Edition, then that's shitty.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're getting, like, the best soccer player, shit.
Well, here's the other thing. And when I was in college when this was going on, and we all scrounged up a bunch of change to get one single pack. We must have bought... We played the game enough to earn enough in-game currency to unlock these packs. But we could never seem to get anyone good in it. It'd be like once every 20 packs, we'd get one person. So we thought, I wonder what happens if you bought one. And we bought 3 of them, and all 3 of them, when you bought it, with real money, had at least 2 or 3 good guys. Easily. So that tells me immediately that me bothering to even play the game at that point was worth nothing.
Yeah, so I wouldn't play it anymore.
No, and that's what kind of broke us. We played it for maybe a few more days, and we were just so devastated that... So that's why we kept losing online, is because people paid to win. They paid for these better players.
That's why I don't even bother like playing online anymore with most games. Unless it's like something that's super controlled. Like, I know you're going to hate when I say it, but like, the thing is, like, at least as far as I know, Call of Duty hasn't gone that route of like, I know they have some like loot boxes, but I don't think it's anything like that'll make you better. I haven't played in a while, so maybe I'm crazy, but...
Well, you mentioned loot boxes having more or less aesthetics to the characters.
Aesthetics are fine. Who cares what my guy looks like? If I get a costume where he's wearing a Hello Kitty hat, like, fine.
But in the case of Shadow of Mordor, it's actually in-game items that you earn.
Yeah, that's shit.
Just simple shit, no elaboration.
No, like, well, I mean, I don't even know how to describe it. If it's just for looks, fine. It doesn't affect the game. But now, if I can pay money to get better, why am I even playing this? You know, like it defeats the whole purpose of a game. And I don't buy that excuse of like, well, you can earn everything you buy. And I'm like, then I'm gonna earn it. Oh, but it costs $9.9999 in-game currency, and you get 3 a match. I'm like, well, then I'm gonna go play something else. See ya. It's just not worth my time, you know.
Yeah,
like,
no, I totally agree. It's if you're telling us, the gamer, that we can buy something instead of playing the game, then that's to me that's taboo.
Yeah, I mean the one market I kind of agree with is the mobile market. Not that I actually give money to those guys, but if a game is free, they have to pay their bills somehow. And I think morally, like, if you dump at least like an hour into a mobile game, like, throw them $1. You know, like, people worked on that. So as shitty as it is, like, I'd rather pay for a game up front and then like, okay, I'm on my way. But, you know, games don't come out of thin air. Somebody developed it. Somebody put time into it. If it's free, I accept it. But if I paid $2 for your game, you know, I paid for your game now. Like, I don't want to deal with it anymore.
See, I don't believe in mobile gaming at all.
Well, I don't either.
Every game is made the same way, and that is to feed off of your addiction.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, that's the only way I can kind of agree with, because somebody's got to get their bills paid.
Well, the thing is, because they're made that certain way, they're gonna get their bills paid. Remember when Candy Crush was a thing and how much money they made per day?
Oh yeah, no, I'm not saying it's a morally great thing or it's really great, but you know, if you just got to get some income. I don't play Candy Crush. I think mobile games are kind of designed to be shitty, like you said, but it's like that gray area. I'm like, all right, fine, I guess. Like,
yeah, the day that a game like Solitaire starts getting microtransactions will disgust me to no end.
Oh, you're really late. It's already there. There's a bunch of Solitaire games where it's like, you lost, but you can play again in an hour. Or if you give me $1 right now, you can play.
Well, there are certain Solitaire games, but the basic one that you can get like off your computer.
Like if Windows 98 Space Cadet had microtransactions? Yeah.
Right, yeah. Or Minesweeper.
Yeah. There is I don't know if it's just on phones, but I think there was like an arcade downloadable game coming out. It might be on consoles where you actually have to pay $0.25 to go at the arcade games.
Oh,
and I'm
boy.
like, well, that's real stupid. Like, I can only imagine your bank going like, why are you paying $0.25 like 4 times a day? Like, what are you doing?
Well, needless to say, we don't agree with microtransactions.
Word.
Wholeheartedly. You have your couple little aspects about them. So, moving on away from that, and before we get into the regular theme topic, Kevin, I want to know how you're doing.
I'm tired, man. I've been working crazy hours again. I've gotten to dabble with some games, mostly one that's real bad called Turning Point: Fall of Liberty.
Okay, I saw you posting on it online.
Yeah, you ever
I'm
heard
not
of it?
familiar with it though.
Oh, it's real bad. I forget the company's name that makes it, but they made 2 games on PS3. They made Turning Point and Legendary. and they look like early PS2 games. Like we did the research. Turning Point came out in 2007, like the same year BioShock came out.
Mm-hmm.
And we're just like, oh, somebody made a real bad game. We have recorded it, and me and my buddy are one mission away from beating it, where the game realized, hey, this game's real bad, and we've made it real easy to this point. Fucking throw everything at them, just everything, and now it like became super impossible. And
no difficulty curve. It's a spike.
Yeah, and
I hate that.
I want to give you a premise of the story of this game because this is literally how the game presents it to you. It's World War II, and you're in New York City, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the game, in text form, black screen, white text, goes, Winston Churchill was the reason the English got into World War II and were a strong force for the Allies. But one day he was hit by a bus and he lived. But what if Winston Churchill didn't survive? And I was like, okay. And then it just throws you into the game.
Oh,
like,
how weird.
It doesn't have... You never really go to England. Like, your Nazis just come to America and you're just like, what about if Winston Churchill survived? Good luck, man. It's like, I almost read it like a guy that smokes a lot of weed and was just like, dude, imagine if Winston Churchill died. Crazy. And then you play as Steve Harwell of Smash Mouth going around killing Nazis.
What is this called?
Turning Point, Fall of Liberty. Like, you play as a guy who's wearing like a red button-down shirt, popped collar, baggy jeans, wallet chain, and I'm just like, this is, what?
Okay, it has a 43% on Metacritic, so good start there.
Yeah. It's bad.
Developed by Spark Unlimited. Alright.
There you go. That's the developer. I think they've literally made 2 games. So.
Published by Codemasters.
Yeah. That's it. That's all they got. It's real bad.
Codemasters has quite the
Dizzy
history.
the Egg. They made Dizzy the Egg.
That sounds terrible.
Oh, it's a great NES game. Trust me. Beyond that, I played... I've been doing a lot of Ghost Recon Wildlands because that game is fucking good.
Ubisoft Go to the Tower.
No, there's actually surprisingly not a lot of towers, but other open world aspects, yeah, it's pretty much every open world Ubisoft game. Okami, which I don't know why I'm still playing. I really don't like that game that much. I think it's kind of overrated.
You don't like it?
It's too artsy fartsy for its own good.
Aww.
Honestly,
I feel that way.
No, the game's beautiful and like it's a Zelda clone, which is great, but like I couldn't give a shit about anyone in this game, like, as a character. I'm just like, none of these people are memorable. I hate the brush technique thing. Like, I'm only doing it because it's, like, our RPG of the quarter for game clubs, but...
What are you playing it on?
PS3. I know the Wii motion controls would make the brushing easier, but, like, beyond that, like, I think the combat is nonsense. Like, I have no reason to get into combat. Like, I don't feel like I get anything out of it. And it kind of takes a long time. It's like you have to go in this arena and it closes off, and then after you kill everybody, there's like another 10 seconds before it's like, okay, you did it, and I can go on with my day.
I highly disagree that it's a Zelda clone, but the comment of too artsy fartsy, well then it's just not for you.
Yeah, no, it's not a bad game. It's just I'm not feeling it.
Speaking of not for anyone, apparently this Spark Unlimited made a bad Call of Duty game.
Is it the Korean one?
Finest Hour, back in 2004.
Finest Hour? Which one was that?
It's actually their highest rated game they've ever made.
Oh, is that like the port of the first Call of Duty for consoles?
Maybe.
Because I don't know what Call of Duty 1
I've never played Finest
out.
Hour, but it has a 73% on Metacritic. Everything else they've made is below a 60.
Nice. Yeah, I'm gonna try Legendary soon too.
Whew.
Because why not?
They made a bad Ninja Gaiden game, and they made Lost Planet into irrelevance. So,
nice. They're awesome then.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a bad company. bad Spark Unlimited.
And the last game I've been playing recently is Pokemon Crystal, but randomized. And because my buddy my buddy wanted to play he always wanted to do a Nuzlocke, and I was like, well, if I take Pokemon ROM, I can literally randomize all the Pokemon you'd find, like your starters, the trainers, gym leaders. Everyone has random Pokemon. And
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I put up the first video on my channel, And so we started with a Gligar, and we're doing everything's random.
Yes.
So it's I think our choices were like a Cubone, a Gligar, and I want to say a Ursaring, but I can't remember the middle one. And
I would have picked Cubone all day.
see, I would have, and I'm lucky we didn't because we're doing a Nuzlocke. He only knows Growl and like Leer at level 5, so we would have been screwed. But yeah, it's fun if you want to watch that video.
Oh man, how do you do anything then?
What do you? Oh well, it's random. They're not supposed to be your starters.
No, but if a Pokemon only has Growl and Leer, how are you supposed to do anything?
We probably would have modified it to make it work, but luckily Gligar had Poison Sting, which sucks. So we're getting through it. Watch the first episode. I have 3 more to edit in my time of no editing, but it's good. JD, link it or something. I don't know how you do this.
Like, comment, subscribe, whatever.
Yeah, all of that.
Oh boy. Well, it's good you're playing games outside of the podcast games.
Yeah, I got to dabble. I got to dabble in.
Played a big stinker.
Hey, it's gonna make for great content when I finally edit it. Maybe. I have an addiction to making videos nobody watches. It's cool.
Alrighty. Well, okay, Kevin. It was nice getting your thoughts over the microtransactions. Catch up with you.
Yeah.
We'll see you at the end of the podcast. Getting your game thoughts.
Help me.
So can we like refill our water bottles right now?
This is the point where we can start talking about the retro theme.
Got it.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Can I fill my water bottle up really quick?
Go. Me and Josh will take care of this. We'll introduce everything. We'll start going over Metal Gear. That's our first game.
Go into it, guys.
Yeah. So this was based off of Call of Duty, Josh. The retro theme is, of course, taking a popular modern game and just picking a random retro game that kind of reminds us of it.
I mean, I don't know where you guys got Metal Gear from. The only comparison that I could draw is that maybe they're both run and gun, but that's about it. And that pissed me off because I love Metal Gear, okay? So that pissed me off, the fact that it was a run and gun game that was almost impossible.
Well, have you ever played the original Metal Gear, was the question.
No, I haven't, but like...
now, so do you see the comparison now?
Well, but that's what I'm trying to say. That's the reason why it pissed me off so bad is because it's so uncharacteristic for Metal Gear to be a run and gun game when its biggest element has always been for stealth. Like there's even been
there's cool stealth in this game.
Not really, but
I mean, kind of.
Not really, but anyway, like. But it just pissed me off because like the only way that I could compare these is they were both run and gun, like I had said 3 times already, and it's even worse than when Hideo Kojima comes out and goes, "Yeah, this wasn't my idea."
Yeah, I have to
so
agree
for
with Josh.
those that don't know, Metal Gear is an overhead military action adventure stealth game released in 1987 by Konami.
Yeah.
In comparison,
It came out on the Nintendo and Famicom back then. So directed by Kojima, our man.
He's a genius.
He's so smart.
So what did everyone think of the game? We've now gone over a short comparison over it. What did everyone think?
The game itself was... I couldn't even really call it Metal Gear, man. Like, first of all, this is obviously a horribly translated game.
Yeah.
Okay. This is a horribly translated game. I didn't hate it. Although I'm gonna go ahead and say right now, this was probably the worst one on the list.
Yeah.
Hooray! I agree.
Yes.
Dude, the stupid dogs.
I'm interested to hear what Kevin has to say now, but
yeah.
But like it didn't feel like a Metal Gear game at all. The game was ridiculously hard. Like, I don't understand why if you died, it sent you all the way back to the beginning. And, like, the biggest thing for me was, like, the password system. Why the hell were the passwords five strings long?
Dude, it's insane.
The passwords were really long. Those are your only checkpoints. And, like, God fucking
that
damn
game
it.
was just... it was the first one I picked up. I was like, all right. I was streaming. I was like, all right, let's play this. And, oh my god, I got so angry. Like,
It was
The dogs were. Oh my god.
the dogs were stupid, and it's even more of a punch in the face when you went back to the screen. It's like, oh, they're back. Okay,
Dude.
It's
Oh my
old
gosh.
Nintendo. It's old Nintendo hard. It's before. It's before that. When you kill something, it's dead for good.
Yeah.
Anytime you revisit a screen, everything was back the way you originally left it.
Now see,
or entered it.
with things like that doesn't bother me at all. If you just reload a screen, everything reloads with it. That's fine. But for example, when you get your fucking handgun and you walk out of the goddamn truck and you die immediately, when you've never played this game before, you're like, what the fuck just happened?
Oh, it's cheap. No, a game like this should not have had respawning enemies.
No.
At all.
No.
Yeah,
I think that would have been a good start
choices.
to improve it.
They could have called this game anything else. And you know what? Yeah, it's really fucking hard, but for the feel of the title, like just for this franchise that's a part of, it's just a really disappointing game. But
the stealth comes from the solidness, by the way.
and the
The
snakiness.
solidness that is his
The
snake.
snakiness makes it sneaky because everyone knows snakes are sneaky because they have no arms and legs in which to make noise with.
I didn't like this game at all, so that's my bit.
I didn't mind
Yeah.
it, but as a comparison,
I liked the music. The music I actually thought was kind of cool.
music was a pain in the ass too.
Yeah.
But
I think if you would have started with a pistol, it would have helped.
Yep.
I don't mind the way the game played and what you were supposed to do, even though things were way too cryptic. But that's typical Kojima.
Did you know that?
But we didn't know that at the time.
Did you know that Metal Gear, like the machine, Metal Gear wasn't even in the game?
I did not know
He's
that.
not even in the game.
I never got that far.
It's not in the game. It is not there. Nope, I didn't beat it either, but I did research on it to like look up what it was about because I love Metal Gear and I want to know the timeline and all that crazy stuff. But like it's not even in there.
Very strange.
Me as a person who's not played much Metal Gear Solid games, I didn't really know the story, but I was told the story of Metal Gear by somebody cosplaying Snake in a line for an anime expo. So,
Dude,
I got the knowledge.
The story,
the Solid games are fun. They're really good.
They're so fun. Now,
yeah, they are
look,
fun.
I'm not trying to. Okay, it's gonna sound silly. I'm not trying to plug. I swear. But if you want to see a really good run of Metal Gear, dude, you got to check out how I beat the shit out of that game on my channel.
No, man, you beat the shit out of it.
I'm not trying to like.
Good job, bro.
I'm not trying to plug or
I
anything,
agree.
but like, if you want to see the game played well and played quickly, you can mute it if you don't want to hear the commentary, whatever. But like, if you want to see the game firsthand, I kicked the fuck out of that game, and I kicked the fuck out of it quickly.
Also, if you want to see the best Call of Duty gameplay ever, you can go look at my YouTube videos and my streams.
I'm only interested if
Guys are too
I'm only
much.
interested if there's 360 no scopes. Not interested.
Okay, you know what? I got some sniper clips. Okay.
Okay, fair enough.
All right.
Still not interested. But no, I'm just kidding.
No, I just run the game field. I make sure they're all going.
So, for talking what's good about the game, I do like how intricate the game is, how much detail is definitely put into it. But there's so many flaws to this that it just makes it not fun anymore.
No, not even a little bit.
Because I love games that make you think. I love games that make you work out a puzzle. But when things are way too cryptic, that becomes an issue.
Way too puzzly.
Where mechanics become cheap, such as respawning enemies right in front of you when you come onto a screen.
Mm-hmm.
That's not okay. And then the whole respawn system, when you die, you go all the way back to the beginning. When there's so much of the game you have to go through again.
So
that was a time when there were no checkpoints as well. So
that's fine. But like, to stick to the topic, Metal Gear to Call of Duty, there was none other than there was a running gun. There was a gun and a macho soldier who on the art was actually based off of one of the guys from the Terminator.
Oh, from the first one?
Something Reeves, I think it was.
Keanu Reeves.
Not Keanu Reeves.
I never played Metal Gear and thought, hey, you know what? This reminds me of Call of Duty. There's nothing whatsoever.
To me, okay, so this was basically the original like military shooting game, and that's where it came from.
Yeah, no, I'm in a call with JD, and he's like, so what's like Call of Duty? And I'm playing Call of Duty while like, Medal of Honor. He's like, no. How about Metal Gear? It's got a guy and a gun.
Was that the only? He's got a guy. He's got a gun. He's got a raspberry.
Yeah, that's his logic, pretty much.
JD, I thought.
Sorry to throw you out there, but
don't make fun of my logic. It's amazing.
I was like, yeah, I mean, I guess there's a guy and a gun, but
yeah, that's funny. Other than a gun and a guy.
I think Call of Duty Evolution-wise is just the shooter genre was always really popular, and I think it was just it always evolved. There was a tiny idea that went from game to game, and Call of Duty is just kind of what came out of it.
Well, I mean,
by default,
I'm not going to disagree with you, but at the same time, we already kind of went over this that shooting was almost not a thing because of how fucking retarded the controls were when they first came out. So we're lucky to even to this day have the Call of Duties we have.
Well, I mean, Halo was a big influencer of how it came to console, just because their aim assist algorithm.
Well, I mean,
and how you were able to shoot.
And the reason why we didn't pick Medal of Honor is because we already covered it.
That too.
Too bad.
Too bad. So sad.
But I mean, Medal of Honor was a huge push to Call of Duty because it was mostly the same developers.
Should have picked like Desert Eagle. Why didn't I think of that? Why didn't nobody ask me these things? There's Desert Eagle.
Oh, that's a shame.
I think this was the morning after you got really drunk on that Crash Bandicoot stream.
Wait. I think you're right.
Yeah, this was.
I thought you were talking about me for a second. I was like, I did that?
Yeah.
Well, I definitely did it.
Yeah, no, he definitely did that.
So our next game is based on Breath of the Wild, that new hyped Zelda game that came out.
Overrated.
People are still playing. And I actually did think about this one.
This was a really good think about. No, you Googled this one actually, didn't you?
Well, I Googled to make sure I was thinking of the same game.
Yeah.
And the game is Beyond Oasis, and it came out on the Sega Genesis.
This game was fun.
Oh my gosh, I started this on stream and I played for like hours. I loved this game.
It was originally released December 1994 in Japan, March 1995 everywhere else, pretty much. And holy crap, is it fun!
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun.
Really quickly though, I just want to before we go into the game and our little thing about it, I want to do the comparisons first for us. My notes that I had is, other than an open world and the non-linearity of Breath of the Wild, these games are actually a lot alike. You can find the different weapons in the caves. There's a ton of hidden treasures, like you have to crawl underneath grates and like the dungeons and find the different things. The different summons you get, which is comparable to the powers you get from the Guardians. So this game was a lot like Breath of the Wild, other than the fact that it had
even breakable weapons.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. The weapons are
that felt literally copy and pasted. The weapon system, they felt exactly the same.
Durability is not a new concept, so I mean that's why it's so great. So that's why I mean, like, other than the open world of Breath of the Wild and the non-linearity of the game, these games are a lot alike. Which is, but then it all comes back to these are like the same games as the old school Zelda games, which is what the Breath of the Wild was based off of. But those are my notes. What about you guys?
No, I mean that's really why I picked this game, and the fact that it's Sega.
Oh yeah, fucking of course, pick Sega,
because it was Sega's answer to Zelda, and they took Zelda concept and amplified it and added some things. And it's kind of ironic that we saw a lot of these things later in Breath of the Wild.
Well, it's just really... I mean, like I said, durability is not a new concept, but it was just really cool for Sega to even come out with a game like Beyond Oasis, because Sega was not really known for a lot of their RPGs. I mean, yeah, they had quite a bit, don't get me wrong. They had a few. But when you, as not a child, but let's say a young teen, or at least 16 to 18, so this is more up your alley, Drew, in these times, when you're looking for an RPG to play, you're looking at Super Nintendo because they got Legend of Zelda, Earthbound.
Well, if I'm looking at retro games, I'm definitely.
Well, I mean, I'm talking about in this time, like I'm talking about at that time, right? So like when we're in the console war between Sega and Super Nintendo, you're looking at, like I said, Earthbound, Super Mario RPG. Okay. Like you're looking at all these games on the Nintendo, and you're like, hey, well, what do they have comparable to that? Like they got Sonic, they got Rift Star. Oh, they got Beyond Oasis. I heard that game was like, and it was really cool because that game was actually 24 bits instead of 16.
I think something that I sat down to play Beyond Oasis. I just got out of Metal Gear. I was kind of angry, and Beyond Oasis opens up. It's super colorful. I thought the music was super cool. Again, I really liked the music of this game. The world was colorful. I was instantly intrigued by the world that I was in. I wanted to know more about it. I thought the combat system in Beyond Oasis was really interesting because, an hour and a half into the game, I was still learning new moves and maneuvers I could use for certain combat.
That is the one thing that was nice, is it wasn't just press A 3 times and you go through the same 3-hit combo.
There was all kinds of crazy maneuvers, like jump backwards, slash towards the ground, all kinds of crazy stuff. They were really cool. And when I started up the game, I thought it was going to be pretty simple, but there was a lot of complicated bits to this game, much like Breath of the Wild, where you could pick this up and play it easy, or you could learn the game and find so much and get so much more out of it. The puzzles were cool, the abilities were cool, the world was cool, the colors were cool, the music. I don't really have any difficulties with this game, besides my weapons breaking way too quickly.
Yeah. The one thing about the music, though, normally I am a big music guy, and I do agree with you, the music was nice, but there was a lot of volume issues, and that's not really a negative thing, but there were a lot of volume issues, and I was like, okay, let's relax here.
That was an issue for me because I was streaming, and those volume issues hit really hard.
Especially in the palace, the waterfall.
Yeah, the waterfall, especially when you first got into the land on the way to the castle out of the town. That tune I really thought was awesome, but it was very, very loud.
Yeah. So. JD, it's your turn.
I thought the game was very straightforward. I loved the map system where it didn't tell you exactly where to go, but it was like, go north.
Yep.
There's a flag. Go there. Figure out how to get there. I played the shit out of this game. It was the game I played the most for the podcast for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
I got 3 Guardians out of the 4, and I believe I played over 2/3 of the game in the end.
I think I played a similar amount.
I got up to free and then called it a day.
Oh man, so you got as far as Kevin on that one. I went a little past getting the shade ability, which you get after defeating this massive fucking dragon.
Nice.
That's how far I played.
I played maybe like halfway after getting the first Guardian on the stream, then I turned it off. And then that night, after I had dinner, I got back on Beyond Oasis and just played by myself for a couple more hours.
Yeah, my one gripe is it seems the game isn't very long. It's only about 6 hours. You can beat the entire game, which for a game like this is definitely seeming on the short side. When there's platforming elements in the game, because of the way the character jumps, it's incredibly irritating. There's no precision to it. I find myself constantly falling down pits, taking my life away just to die and then have to redo it all over again just from a simple jump. That is not okay.
Do you know if there's any New Game Plus mode or like open world after the game?
Man, New Game Plus wasn't a thing till quite a while ago, so I would doubt it.
Right.
But there is a sequel to the game on the Sega Saturn called Legend of the Oasis, and it seemingly. Supposedly, it gets rid of a lot of the issues that this one had, such as the way the character strikes with a dagger, where it's slightly to the right of wherever you are, because that does get annoying.
But it makes sense if you're going to stab someone with your right hand, it's going to stick more to the right.
Yeah.
Sure, but it was just a little bit too far to the right, because you could definitely notice it. Because when you play a Zelda game, it's definitely centered just enough where then the hit detection will get it. While in this one, the hit detection was definitely supposed to be centered on the character. So if you hit a character to the right, sometimes you wouldn't actually hit the enemy, and that's where you would get kind of cornered every now and again. I don't know if that makes some people. I've read reviews that say that attributes to the game's difficulty level.
Yeah,
I didn't really have issues with difficulty level. I died like 2 times to the first guy in the town at the very beginning of the game, till I kind of got my handle on the combat system, and then I just went. I don't think I died again.
As soon as I figured out that knock-up slash, I didn't ever die.
Yep. Yeah, it was the same. Like you just kind of mowed through enemies after that.
Yeah.
I think my favorite attack was when you double tap the run button and then you slash the enemy and he does like 30 flips in the air with that satisfying
that knock-up attack
sound effect.
You hit you could, and the cool thing is too, you could do it like that. Like you could from a standstill to sprint and attack, and it just worked all the time.
Yeah, it was so good. A lot of the puzzles involve just killing a lot of all the enemies on the screen. Very simplistic yet challenging. I thought it was a great game. I can't wait to continue. I'm definitely going to finish the game, and then I'm going to get the sequel for my Sega Saturn.
Nice.
There you go.
All right.
What about everyone else? Final thoughts, or move on to the next one?
It was a good game.
Move on.
Good game. Not the best one.
Good game.
Good one, not the best one. But let's go to the next
Oh,
one.
what's the best one?
We're not there yet.
We're not there yet.
Okay. Oh, okay.
So the next one is based on Grand Theft Auto 5, and kept this one simple.
Okay.
We covered the first Grand Theft Auto.
The first one.
So I'm pretty sure that all of us have played a lot of GTA. Am I wrong about that?
No, you're right. I played GTA. I got it
GTA
on my
3 and
PS4.
5.
Yeah, no.
GTA 3 and 5 for me.
The original GTA.
Oh, yeah, I've played this one.
The original?
I used to have this.
Yeah, I played the shit out of that
I
game.
played it for the podcast now.
Oh, I
I'd
played
never
the shit
played
out
it
when it
prior.
came out.
I had never played the original Grand Theft Auto prior to the podcast.
It's a good game.
Yeah. I'd like to do the comparison again.
Go for it.
So the games still feel the same regardless of it being top down or not. GTA 5, it still felt like the same game, just with a different camera point. You can go wherever you want, you can do whatever you want, and yes, there's a story that adds to the game. It's still vulgar, and you know what? Overall, it's just a lot of fun. And the map, for a map... Okay, hold on. And for a map of this size on the PlayStation, it still feels like that wide open world you can expect from GTA series.
Okay,
yeah.
It does make sense.
I personally, and I know this isn't really a popular opinion, I prefer this type of GTA, the top down, honestly, more than the 3D ones.
It kind of... It kind of made it like more comedic when you're driving top down a car and you smoke a person on a bike.
Exactly. Like, my favorite Grand Theft Auto game is one that I know not as many people played, but it's Grand Theft Auto Chinatown Wars, which was on the Vita and on the DS. And if you haven't played this, Judy, you should play this on the Vita.
What about you?
Because it's really good. There are systems.
Yeah,
it's just a ton of fun. It's top down. The story is really good, and it has this system that I'm really sad is not in any of the other GTA games, but it has a fully fleshed out drug dealing system. That's a lot of fun. Like you have your stash, you work out with people's sales. You know, it's a ton of fun. And
so I'm going to keep my opinion short on this game because I honestly did not play it very long.
Right.
Because I thought it was too simplistic.
Fair.
Go to the phone, get the job that once you miss it, then you don't know what the fuck to do because you can barely hear it half the time. And what killed it for me was the constant camera motion.
Ooh, yep.
Where it was this fisheye, it looked like this fisheye lens that was constantly zooming in and out, anytime you hit the gas or hit the brake. To me, it made it even, and I play VR a lot, and I don't really get motion sick. I got motion sick playing this one.
I can see how they'd be disorienting, yeah.
So, to me, the game was unplayable. I didn't play it very long. I couldn't. I played maybe 4 or 5 missions, and then, even then, it got monotonous, and I just didn't have as much fun.
I'm pretty sure there's a setting to actually disable that. The camera bounce, or where it zooms in and out. Even
then, I think maybe in a later iteration you could do that. I don't know. I definitely looked for it.
Right.
Even then, the game was monotonous even after like 4 or 5 missions.
But see, that's the thing that's the other. So I like Grand Theft Auto, but it's not a game that I would constantly be like, oh, I love this game or really like this game, because they do get monotonous after a while. The most fun is in the crazy shit that you can do in the game, and that's why the GTA games will always, no matter what, be the same. Then again, we're also comparing GTA to GTA, so they're obviously going to be easily comparable.
Exactly. So. Like, I like getting in car chases with the cops. I can do that in every GTA game. It's pretty much the same in every GTA game. Yeah. I'm happy.
So, what's the next one?
The next one's based off of Splatoon, specifically Splatoon 2, because that's the big hit Nintendo game that came out recently.
They're the same game.
Well, yeah. So we did Jet Set Radio, which came out on the Sega Dreamcast.
Which is awesome.
I love this game.
It's awesome.
This was the best one.
It was developed by Smilebit, which is not a first-party Sega game.
I'm just saying.
I think this is a great game. I still think Beyond Oasis was more fun, though. Maybe that's because I've already played Jet Set Radio a ton, but
also,
I thought Beyond Oasis was
for those that don't know, the premise behind, before Josh goes into his comparison, the premise behind Jet Set Radio is you're this group of guys running kind of a turf war against other factions in a city called Neo Tokyo.
No, it's Tokyo To.
Oh, Tokyo To. That probably means Neo Tokyo in Japanese. I don't know. Could be. But you run missions basically re-tagging the town in graffiti using spray paint, and the cops are after you. And it's just...
Dude, it's also super violent.
Oh, yeah, my God. The cops run you over.
Dude, the one cop in the first mission comes up to you with a revolver and shoots you.
Yeah, for a little graffiti on a building.
And then, not even 2 minutes afterwards, the SWAT is after you with tear gas.
It's nuts.
Dude, the game was...
This game
was awesome.
It went on and influenced multiple games in its time, and I've pretty much enjoyed every version of the game that's been influenced by this game.
So,
I think another really big popular one would be Sunset Overdrive on the Xbox One.
Just Cause.
Heavily influenced by this game.
Just Cause, too.
And Just Cause.
Yep.
Ridiculously fun. I think you would see Sunset Overdrive and Splatoon a little bit more influenced just by aesthetic and sound. Mm-hmm. Just Cause takes away the little craziness of it. But I think when we want like the full aesthetic of Jet Set Radio, the punk rock, the grinding, the cool, comic booky, quirky art with the characters that are a little bombastic, I think Sunset Overdrive captures it the best. So that's just my opinion, though.
So, Josh, what are your comparison notes
This
here?
one's going to be a little upsetting, but I wasn't too sure how they could be compared, only because I never played Splatoon 2 for more than 5 minutes on the beta for the Switch. But the only comparisons I could draw are there's paint, and they're both silly and fun, and you have to kind of take your paint and make your territory, and those are like the only comparisons that I could find from
which is the main thing of both games.
Well, I know that.
Can I do the comparison for this one then?
Do it.
Sure. I would like to say comparison wise, I think Nintendo looked at this game and saw the aesthetic. I think they saw the aesthetic, and that was a big thing. Because if you look at the Splatoon town, the art is very similar to Jet Set. The soundtrack is very similar to Jet Set. They're trying to create this fun, quirky, aesthetic game that's very bouncy, high energy, and bombastic.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I think the aesthetic is more to compare than the actual gameplay.
How far did everyone get in Jet Set, by the way?
I don't know. I think I beat the game when I was like 7. So
this is one of the last games I played, so I didn't get to play for too much. Like I said at the beginning, I don't really have a lot of time to play a lot of games anymore. When I do get time to play games, I kind of want to play different ones, but this is one of the last ones I played. I beat like the first 2 or 3 missions, and then that was it. But I had never played Splatoon 2, so I was like, oh shit, how am I going to compare this?
So, I haven't played this game basically since its release. I knew one friend with a Dreamcast, and he had this game. We beat it together then. And when I picked this game up again for the podcast, I ended up beating half the game in a single session. I just couldn't put it down. It was so much fun. However, the controls are straight ass.
Well, you kind of expect that from games that is literally driven on wheels.
Oh. So the character's on rollerblades because it was the late 90s, early 2000s. And you're tasked with basically re-tagging and taking control of your town. And you go to different maps, and the whole... what I end up learning is you need to tag certain areas in a certain order because the cops are after you, and then they make certain tagged spots increasingly difficult to get to, whether it be you're getting shot at or tear gassed. And once I figured that mechanic out, the game became much easier, even though the controls were very frustrating. And they definitely fixed that in later iterations, especially on the Steam release.
Jet Set Radio.
It is available on Steam.
Jet Set Radio Future. If you guys like this one, Jet Set Radio Future was even better.
Yeah, I actually didn't even know there was a sequel. But today, because I left all my notes on the computer that's being shipped to my current house, I just looked at gameplay of all the games again just to kind of get a refresh on it. And I accidentally started watching gameplay for Jet Set Radio Future, which looks freaking awesome.
And it looks a million times better, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, and I really want to play it now. So
It's freaking awesome.
is Jet Set Radio feature on Steam?
I'm not too sure.
I don't believe so.
Yeah,
It was on the original Xbox, so it
I'll just get a
might
copy
get
of
a
that then.
backwards compatible.
I-
It might get
I
backwards
doubt that.
compatible.
No, I'll just find a copy for my original Xbox because
I believe it runs about $30. Jet Set Radio Future.
That's fine. I'll have to pick it up.
Yeah, the game's still a ton of fun. I love all the quirky characters. I think choosing certain characters is your difficulty level in the game because certain characters have either more speed, they get more complicated tagging techniques, because it's all matching button rhythms in how you spray tag something. So it's a lot of fun. I definitely got that Splatoon itch back because I did get a little tired of Splatoon 2. And after playing Jet Set Radio, I got the Splatoon itch back immediately, and I'm back to playing Splatoon again.
One other game that I had actually completely forgotten about that I think is a good comparison to Jet Set Radio would specifically infamous Second Son, I think took a lot from this game. From the graffiti mechanics all the way to the movement and the aesthetic with the music and all that. I'd completely forgotten about that one, but that one definitely gave me Jet Set Radio vibes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, the next game is Turrican. JD, why don't you indulge us in some of that?
Oh boy. Okay, so this was Turrican 2, a highly popular franchise in Europe, and I had some experience with this franchise when I was living over there in Germany. Very popular, and the game we base it off of was Destiny 2 that's coming out. And the reason is it's futuristic space soldiers, kind of an RPG element, going back and forth, something like Metroid, definitely based off of both of them. But you're definitely kind of this super soldier aspect.
What was the other name for it again?
So when this game came out in North America, it was reskinned as Universal Soldier, which was a shitty Jean-Claude Van Damme movie. So it was the exact same game. They just reskinned it and called it something else.
Really quickly, this is also another game that we were sitting in the call and JD said, well, Destiny, it's a sci-fi game. It's got a guy with a gun. It's kind of like an RPG. That'll work.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean, as simplistic as my reasonings are and the logic kind of may not make sense and I'm stretching, I definitely do see Turrican and Destiny as kind of in the same realm of game.
No, absolutely. I mean, if Destiny were a side-scrolling game, this would pretty much be it. It could be either Destiny or Halo. It doesn't matter because they're both the same anyway. But I mean, in essence, it's guy in a super suit, you kill alien, you save lives, and it's all kind of the norm for super soldier space games.
The daily super soldier.
Yeah.
9 to 5.
So Turrican 2 was developed by Rainbow Arts, Factor 5 for the Amiga. When it was reskinned, it was developed by Code Monkeys and published by Accolade. So a lot of things I'm sure hardly of any of us have even heard of. Yeah, exactly. But it did come out on the Genesis, and it did not do well, to say the least, because of the reskinning and because it's so damn hard.
It was tough. Also, I was laughing my ass off when he curled into a ball, and I was like, are you serious right now?
He curls into a spike ball, but only a limited amount of times based on whatever you get.
Yeah.
And that's where the whole Metroid thing comes into, but it's still super suit.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, this game could be comparable, like I said, Destiny, but if Destiny were a side-scroller.
I was not able to get very far in this game because there's one big control aspect that irritated the piss out of me, and that was the fact that you could jump by using, I believe you jumped using the A button and also the up arrow on the D-pad. So I'd find myself jumping constantly into enemies by accident, and there's no hit detection at all when you're getting hit by an enemy, and when you get hit by an enemy, there's no flash damage.
Oh boy.
Your health is immediately sucked down within seconds.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
Speaking of control and fucked up health, I want to go back to Metal Gear for just a quick second. Did you guys ever notice that when you would pick something up, if you press the D-pad, the dialogue box would go right away?
Oh yeah, so then you immediately miss whatever they were saying and whatever your next mission was.
And this, and I mean, your health in Metal Gear is like, because I mean, you flash different colors when you take damage, but there was one part that I had gotten to, okay? You have to walk into this chamber filled with gas, okay? Now, to get through doors, you have to have a card key on, okay? Those certain doors. So you'd use your card key to get into this door, into this room, and immediately have a tick of health taken away. And if you don't notice what's happening, you can just die and get sent back to the beginning. You're like, well, what the fuck did I die? What happens is, as you're walking through, as you're just about to die, you get a call saying, hey, you need to put the gas mask on. So you need to walk into this room, switch to the gas mask, put it on, walk through to the end, put the card key back on, take another tick of damage, and then walk through. That's all I just want to say. That pissed me off. Just saying. Okay, back to Turrican 2.
There were a lot of things frustrating about the game.
I actually found this game to be the most frustrating.
Yeah.
Because all your enemies are high in the air, and the only way you can get them is to jump. But the jumping is so floaty and irritating that you're gonna get hit.
Hey man, just get that triple shot, you'll be fine. Or that spread shot, you'll be fine.
Yeah, I found this a little bit less irritating than Metal Gear, just because, you know, that it was more consistent. I felt like, okay, if I do this, I can get away. You know, I can get away with it.
I found it a little annoying because every time you pick something up, be like, laser, spread shot, blah, blah. It's like, okay, we get it.
I love that.
I just found it a little annoying over time. It's like, because you pick up so much shit so often, it's like, it's like, oh my god, poor dude.
No, that's like something I remember. And whenever I pick up a gun, I'm like, scatter shot,
laser. Yeah. It's like, oh sweet,
laser gun.
Yeah, there were three weapons: a bounce, a laser, and a kind of a multiplier or something. Where it just
there was rebound, split shot, or whatever, I can't remember what it was called, and then laser.
Yeah, and then both have their little power ups to each of those. But eventually, it's just this big blast of whatever the fuck it is.
Mm-hmm.
And including if you press the C button, as I remember, it's just a massive laser spread that's vertical across the screen and destroys everything. Yep. So why wouldn't you just keep spamming that button?
Yeah, no.
But you only have a limited amount of those.
Right.
So you're supposed to use them in emergencies, but when you get hit, I'll go back to this. When you get hit by an enemy, there's no flash damage, so your life is immediately gone by the time you realize what's happened. You can't react quick enough to just save yourself with this button, and you die anyways.
Yeah.
It's a real shame because the game has a lot of promise, and its popularity in Europe for later iterations speak volumes, such as the Mega Turrican and Super Turrican games. This one was very disappointing to me. I'm very sad that it turned out to be as punishingly difficult. And with the poor controls, just made this game just not fun.
Without having to bridge the gap between this and Destiny, I would have thought it would have been more between more along the lines of a Metroid and Mega Man.
Yeah, I got that aesthetic too. It felt a lot more Metroidvania or Mega Man-esque. Mm-hmm. But I mean, it does have that. I mean, when you think of Destiny, you think fantasy, sci-fi shooter, open worlds, you know.
Well, I mean, it's already
multiplayer.
It's already really, really hard to try to do an open 3D world to a 2D. That's why I said if Destiny were side scroller, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of where that Mega Man thing played into Turrican 2, where you go about this environment wherever you want to try and find the end.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what Destiny kind of does. Yeah.
Right.
So
I don't know. I think we all play Destiny for different things. And I think that's also an issue because you can play Destiny for PvP, you can play it for raids, you can play it for the story. There's a lot in that game to bite into.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So yeah.
So
last but not least,
the last one.
Last but not least, this dumb game.
I had to do
this
it.
Game, I had to do it. To do with PUBG, by the way.
Yeah, not at all.
This is one where I'm
don't
like,
call it PUBG. That's such a dumb name.
Him and Kevin want to call it.
First of all, if you think it's dumb saying, well, there's a guy and a gun. I said, why would we compare this to Battlegrounds? He's like, well, it's chaotic.
Yeah, but
So,
like, I'm just gonna really quickly read my things on it. So the next game we're gonna play is Quarantine. JD, I'll let you break down the Quarantine, like the stats. Well, not stats for it, but I'll let you go into the developers and whatnot first.
Sure. It came out in 1995 on the 3DO. A port of a PC game from 1994, developed by Image Excel, not to be confused with the Microsoft program Excel.
No, but like, even that picture that Image Excel had was just dumb.
So the picture of the game is essentially a windshield with a wiper taking blood off the windshield of the car.
Oh my god, this game was so... It wasn't the worst, okay? Like, I still think Metal Gear was the worst only because I was a Metal Gear fanboy, but if I wasn't, Quarantine would have been the worst. So my first sentence was literally, I'm not sure how there's a comparison to PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds since there was no survival aspect in it. No one is gunning for you, or at least not at all while I was playing.
Everyone's gunning for you. The city is chaos. Everyone wants you to die.
I had not had a feeling of chaos. I mean, other than the fact I was kicking the shit out of everybody in my car, but I did not feel danger at all while I played this game. So I played this game a little too well, or I wasn't playing it right. Still, though, it was enjoyable for the first 20 minutes or so, but then it quickly lost its novelty. It's not the worst, but it got boring really, really quickly.
I share that feeling 100% in both terms. Got boring pretty quick. Well, it was fun for a couple minutes, yeah. And it has nothing to do with PUBG whatsoever.
You mean PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds?
Or as Kevin and JD want to call it pubic.
It is pubic.
What's wrong with PUBG? What's wrong with PUBG?
It sounds like you're a bro just going, hey, you want to go to the PUBG?
It's got a long name. So, I mean...
You can say PlayerUnknown. That's not long to say.
Why not just say PUBG?
Or just Battleground.
I like to vote PUBG, and I want to know what the listeners think as well.
I like that game. I like that game a lot.
No, the game's...
Me and JD had an interesting conversation about it.
I'm probably literally going to finish this, go eat dinner, and actually play PUBG after I'm done.
You know, when my PC gets here, I'm going to turn it on and play PUBG.
I hate that game.
And it's even better.
Yeah, we should play sometime.
Absolutely, dude. I'm down. But it's even better is because it's kind of sucks because I think it's coming out for Xbox first and then PS4 after. But it is coming to console. So those of you who do play PUBG, it's coming out for console if you don't like the way you play it on a mouse and keyboard.
I just want to say that's a terrible idea. PUBG is one of those games that will not play well on console.
I don't know, man. It'd be the same as...
Because it looks like ass and plays like ass.
Well, I played it on console.
It's early access, man. Like it's gonna feel clunky. Like it feels clunky now.
I played it on console. The biggest thing about PUBG is being able to take those long range shots, you know, with your car with the 8x scope and everything. It doesn't work on console. The game is either too easy or too cheesy because of aim assist and how the weapons work.
Guys, we need to talk about Quarantine.
Right. So,
we need to talk about this amazing 3DO game.
So Quarantine was, you're this cab driver.
Yes, go on.
This fucking cab driver, and the best part was the emergency eject seat button. I laughed my ass off when I first seen that. Okay, actually, before we even get to the gameplay, can I talk about the opening cutscene?
Oh my god.
That's the whole point of the game.
The only thing that's different about the whole game is the opening cutscene. It's this dude who wakes up, and you don't know what's going on. All you know is it kind of seems post-apocalyptic or something's wrong. So he wakes up. I don't remember exactly what he does, but he eats like a sandwich, and then you see a mouse running around, and then he gets into this car. And then, oh no, he sleeps in his car. That's it. He was sleeping in his car. He crawls in the front seat. He opens up he puts this metal screen up. It's like, okay, what the fuck is it? Like a limo or something? Like, what's going on? And this old lady.
This is the opening to Wolverine, Logan.
And then this old lady comes into the back seat, and he starts driving all over the place. And next thing I know, he's shooting things. And this is very much macho satisfaction. That's all this opening cutscene was for the guys to be playing this game, be like, yeah, that's fucking macho. I got a
total boner for murder after playing this game.
Man, it was just this game. So the game,
just like PlayerUnknown Battleground.
Well, PlayerUnknown Battleground has strategy.
It is a skill-based strategy game. Okay,
well, I wouldn't say skill.
That gives you a boner for murder.
I would say skill-based, but definitely strategy. So this game, you're a cab driver in basically Raccoon City, and you have, I guess, cars trying to destroy your car, but the premise of the game is you have to go and pick people up, and they're like, okay, well, I gotta go here in this amount of time, and some customers might go, oh, I'm not feeling well, so you drive a little not so crazy, right?
So like Uber in Chicago.
Yeah, basically. So you can run people over, you can shoot people down, and the game was really funny at first, and then like I had said, after like 20 minutes I was like, okay, this is all getting old now.
And I just want to also say, across seas, I'm pretty sure this game released with and the government was like, this game is too violent, and they made all the blood green instead.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure.
I'm not sure.
This is that
I could
game.
see something like that for censorship.
Yeah.
So I take it you guys never earned enough money to get like the front car saw.
No.
To start sawing people in half.
No, but I can believe it.
I can, yeah.
The whole premise of the game is to basically be this taxi driver, go to these points, drop them off, go to upgrade stations so you can get more weapons for your car to make your car so badass that it ends up wreaking so much havoc you escape the city.
Like, you know what I wanted to play after playing Quarantine? I wanted to go play Twisted Metal.
I wanted to go play Killing Floor because of how gory it was.
I don't like that game. I just wanted to play Twisted Metal. I was like, you know what? I want a better car that does cooler things.
It's funny you guys mentioned that because after playing PlayerUnknown Battleground myself, I wanted to play a different game too.
I don't know. Do we have to have a tangent now or argument on PUBG? Because it sounds like a thing. There's some beef here.
I don't...
I understand why JD doesn't like it, but I feel like he should play a little bit more of it before he makes that conclusion.
Did you know you
should do like a Red Leaf Retrocast Let's Play of PUBG and see how it works?
Yeah, that would be interesting.
That would be interesting.
But like,
I'd rather play more Quarantine.
Oh my god.
Fuck it. Did you know that you actually have a better chance of winning the lottery than you do winning your first ever game of PUBG?
I did. I got 4th place on my first game of PUBG.
I got 3rd.
I had more fun killing my own teammates.
Oh, that's even better. Okay, actually, really funny story. I know we're just quarantined, but really funny story. I was actually playing PUBG with Alec yesterday, which is another guy on Power Chord, and we were goofing around.
Used to be.
Well, I mean, Power Chord's kind of it's in a weird little. Anyway, I don't want to get into that. That's so
right.
different.
Right.
So I was playing PUBG with him yesterday, and we were holed up in this build. We were posting up in this building waiting for like the play zone to move or whatever. And so he's on one balcony, I'm on a balcony above him. And I was like, yo dog, I'm gonna keep you on your toes. And I shot a thing right over his shoulder. He's like, what the fuck? He jumped off the building. Oh, it was so funny. That or like he was driving around with my car honking the horn the whole time.
Yeah. My buddy the other day tried to kill me in PUBG by shooting a barrel next to me, and in turn it blew him up and did not kill me.
Weird.
But apparently, the developers of PUBG are very upset if you try to kill your teammates, as in Dr. Disrespect killed his teammate and they banned him for a couple days. So
nice.
Yeah.
But yes, quarantine to PlayerUnknown Battleground. I don't know where you even possibly found it, but I mean,
he said chaos. That was his answer.
I'm still glad I played it, so I can say I've played it. But if I would have never played this game, I would have not have been so upset.
Yeah.
Oh god.
PUBG is a good game. JD doesn't know what he's talking about.
Could have even said like what's it? Is it Crash and Burn or whatever those games are called? I don't know, but they're like think like oh crap! What is that really? What were the racing games we went over? The 2 racing games we went over in one of our podcasts. It was not Need for Speed, but the other one.
Burnout.
Actually, yeah, I think it was called. Well, Burnout's not the one we were talking about, but Burnout is the game I'm thinking of.
Yeah, Burnout Paradise.
But what are the 2 big new racing games this year?
Was Forza this year?
Forza. So think the
Forza's every year. What am I talking about?
Like the graphics of Forza back like 10 years ago, but with the violence of Quarantine. And that was Burnout, and that was awesome. I mean, it was only cars, but it was still so freaking awesome.
Are we sure that was Burnout?
Burnout or Crash and Burn or something like that. I don't know.
I think it was Crash and Burn, because Burnout was a super chaotic driving game, but it wasn't graphic.
Yeah.
Crash and Burn was a release title on the 3DO. It was the only one. Boy.
So, yeah, like I said, Quarantine, PlayerUnknown Battleground, no idea, but I'm still glad I played it.
When it comes to like games like PUBG, I think that's a fairly new genre. Mods basically influenced what these Battle Royale games are now, and I think the first one I can remember would have been, the Minecraft survival game. And Hunger Games, the books. I think that those books and movies kind of helped the idea of gamifying killing children.
Well, like that all could possibly also attribute to just wave survival games. So,
yeah.
Well, that about covers our topic. Yep. Let's cut to what Kevin thinks about all these games, and then we'll return with our finishing thoughts. Kevin, welcome back.
I've traveled through time. Somehow I'm here again.
The audience has heard us speak about these games, and this is going to be more or less an interview format over what you think of these games now, Kevin.
Yeah.
We've just gone over the modern games and put a retro twist on them. The first one I would like to ask you is, we chose Call of Duty as the modern game, and the retro game version of it, or at least in spirit, is Metal Gear on the Nintendo.
Hey, JD, why wouldn't the modern game be Metal Gear? Oh, because Metal Gear.
Because...
Reasons!
So you weren't here at the beginning when I explained it, but it was what games are extremely popular right now.
Okay.
Or what games are coming out on the horizon that are very popular. That's how these modern games got chosen.
Gotcha. Is
the simplistic term of it. So, Metal Gear. Konami title. What do you got? What are your thoughts?
So I mean, I've played Metal Gear Solid before, so I wasn't too familiar with anything before that. And when I finally learned that there was a Metal Gear on NES, probably 2-3 years ago, I kind of realized I don't want to say it's super similar to Metal Gear Solid, but the overall premise of it kind of seems the same. I did like the gameplay where it was stealthy. It was early modern day, I guess modern day stealth as best you can get on an NES, but it almost had a feel of Metroidvania to it, where I didn't know, at least to me, because I didn't know where I was going. I didn't know what items I needed. Everything seemed random, although it's not. But it more felt like Symphony of the Night to me. Where am I going? How do I get there? What do I need to get to this point? Why are you speaking such bad English?
The English was pretty bad in the game.
Yeah, it was. But overall, it's a good game. It's just I've never been good at stealth games, even in a modern day. So when I tried to be stealthy in old Metal Gear, it didn't go real good. But it was a good game overall. I'd play it again. I didn't get too far because I kind of almost needed a guide to know where I was going because, again, it felt like a giant maze. But I'd give it more time. Even though I was bad at it and I knew I was bad at it, I had fun. So, I like it.
I don't know if you can be good at it until you know every nook and cranny.
Yeah, like Metroidvania games where you're I know how to get there faster.
Yeah, but Metroid wasn't as brutally difficult as this game.
No, but the Castlevania Metroidvania games are. Those are hard. Unless I'm just really bad at them, which I am, so.
I'm going to go with you're bad at them,
right.
And this game wasn't very good.
Okay, I liked it, so shut your face, alright?
I'm actually pretty surprised, because this game gets a lot of flack, generally.
It does, and I knew that going in, so I kind of... marinated myself for a bad experience, but it was better than I expected. I think it gets mostly a bad rap because of AVGN, though.
He did do an episode on this game.
Oh, you know what else probably made my experience better? I played the MSX version because it was on the Metal Gear collection, and it's not based off the NES one.
What the hell? You cheated.
I realize now that I'm wait a minute, I think that might have been the original. Oopsie. Whatever.
Yeah, I'm sure things like the hit detection and
it was probably
what
coded
what
better.
Things looked like were for sure. It had to be.
Yeah, you know what? I didn't realize that until I was just thinking about it right now. Whatever.
Oh, you big fat cheater.
All right, so
not playing the console. You're console Kevin. You're playing on the PC.
Okay, no, I played on the PS3. That's a console, but it was just a port of a computer game. Don't tell me to live my life. All right,
moving on.
I liked it.
Moving on is the Sega Genesis title developed by Ancient, called Beyond Oasis, known in Japan as The Story of Thor.
Yeah, this game's cool.
Heir of the Light.
This game's real good, actually. I love it. It's essentially... See, I was joking before calling it a Link to the Past, but it has its own unique kind of spread to it, I guess you can say. Like, the sprites are real... Actually, the sprites are my favorite part of this game, where, like, everything is so well animated, and I feel like the hit detection was, like, I don't know, there's something satisfying like when I hit the guy with my sword and like you just heard like a thud. I don't know. Like to me, like simple things in games make that nice. But it was a good like if you were a Sega Genesis owner back in the day, you probably heard from your friends that all bought in like Super Nintendo like about Zelda. And normally, like especially me, I'd be like, oh, I want to find a game kind of like that, but I don't have Zelda, so your choices were like Landstalker. Remember that one for Genesis? Or no?
Vaguely.
Yeah, it's isometric, like Zelda-ish dungeon game. But then you finally had something like Beyond Oasis come out, and it's the closest thing you're going to get to a Zelda game on Sega, except for Crusaders of Senti. But it was a good dungeon crawler. I like the puzzles in it. You ate a lot of cheese, which was really cool. That was my favorite. That was another favorite, actually.
There's a reason why this game was thought of, or at least it came to my mind immediately, because I had never played it, but I knew of the elements in it. Because the game we based this off of was Breath of the Wild. You eat a lot of food, your weapons go away after a certain amount of uses. You tackle not every dungeon particularly has that goal. Because you got to get this armulet, is what they call it.
I always said amulet.
And you get... Because you go water, fire, earth. The game's not too long, or at least it doesn't have to be. Because you can easily grind and just screw around in the game's world. And it's very much like Breath of the Wild in that. And like you said, you eat a lot of cheese. Well, in Breath of the Wild, you eat a lot of, I don't know, goblet fangs or whatever.
Yeah. It's a good game, though. Like, I mean... I don't think a lot of people talk about it because I didn't know it existed until I bought the Genesis collection for PS3 and 360. And it was just like a random game I saw on there. And like anyone I know that actually had a Genesis growing up, I'm like, what's Beyond Oasis?
Well, I personally have been interested in Legend of the Oasis for the Saturn because it's supposed to be even better.
Is that so that is related? I didn't know if it was just like a similar name. I didn't know if it was related or not.
It's a sequel to Beyond Oasis, and I also played Beyond Oasis on the Genesis collection. Yeah, I actually don't own the game on the Genesis.
That's actually shocking for you, Mr. Sega.
Well, I have a lot of consoles, Mr. Kevin.
What's a consoles?
What's a consoles?
Yeah, I never heard of that.
Was there any point in Breath of the Wild that irritated you?
I haven't played Breath of the Wild.
Or, I'm sorry, Beyond Oasis. Breath of the Oasis.
Yeah, actually, that's a good name for it. Mostly, like, I haven't any Zelda thing. Like, the dungeons are fun, but, like, the overworld exploration of, like, where do I go is always an issue. So, like, if you like getting lost and figuring out where to go, that's fine, but luckily in modern games, like, with someone who has a busy schedule like me, like, there's an overworld map that says, eventually go here. You can do what you want and figure out how to get there, but, like, I just needed, like, a guide to be, like, in the overworld, like, hey, eventually get to this point. But,
Well, that's the same in Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
It's, you're supposed to go in that direction. What lies in that direction, how do you get there? Don't know. You have to figure that out.
Yeah, I don't need my handheld, but I need, like, a general sense of, like, go north and whatever. Like, that's fine.
I thought it was pretty straightforward, personally. You didn't think that?
It was like a good balance, but like I don't know, I get distracted in the overworld kind of thing. And then I'm like, if I put it down for a few days, pick it up, I'm like, what was I doing?
How far did you get in the game?
I think I beat like 2 dungeons. This is my
Water and Fire.
Yeah, this is my second time revisiting it because like every time I play this game, I get like distracted and I like it. Something else comes up, so I need to sit down and like finish it all the way through and see what powers and like items
It's a
you
shame
get.
because it's not a very long game. It only takes you like 6 hours.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I'm thinking because it's like such a Zelda wannabe, it's going to be a lot longer. So maybe that like intimidates me about it.
No, it's not long at all. I was telling the other guys earlier that I beat 5 dungeons, which is just over the halfway point in the game.
Mm-hmm.
So, even though you only did 2 of them,
Right.
the 2 right after that are very short.
Damn.
And then the 5th dungeon involves a giant red dragon at the end that will kick the shit out of you.
That sounds metal as fuck.
Yeah, it's. I played a little bit after that, and as I was telling the other guys, that it got pretty ridiculous.
I don't know. I'm gonna sit down and beat this because I always keep meaning to.
Definitely, I would definitely say go back and visit the game and continue playing if you can.
Hell yeah!
Especially on your new little handheld emulator.
Yeah, I'm mad at it right now, but I'm gonna do it.
You're mad at it right now?
The Super Nintendo best emulator on Android has like crazy input lag, and I'm trying to find another one, and they're all like Chinese and like rip-offy. So like they all have like
9 SNES.
Yeah, they all have like
Plus
they have like crazy ads, and like there's one that was free and it had ads, but also it used like a coin system. Like, oh, use one of your coins to save your state. Oh, you ran out of states. Maybe you should give us $1. I'm like, oh, fuck you. Like, so I'm trying to find a good Super
There's
Nintendo.
microtransactions in your emulators.
Yeah, that's when I got real mad at it. I was like, excuse me? Speaking of microtransactions, actually, now that I just realized you said that, I was just like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Like, this is an emulator.
Oh, God.
Like, I don't mind if you gotta throw an ad on a top banner to support yourself. I get it, but, like, that's some of the weirdest things I've ever seen.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. So, anyway, Beyond Oasis is good. Play it. And the cheapest way, I think, to get it is on the Genesis Collection, which I recommend because you can save and load your state like you would on any other emulator. And you can play it with a controller that I like better, at least.
Well, I believe in the original you can also save on the overworld map as well.
Oh, you can?
But, yeah.
Oh.
All right. Well, the next game, Kevin, is the original Grand Theft Auto based on Grand Theft Auto 5.
Oh, but this one you go with the... Okay, so when I say Metal Gear, I'm crazy, but alright, that's fine.
Well, Grand Theft Auto 5 is very popular. Metal Gear Solid 5 died out a few years ago.
You know what's weird is Grand Theft Auto 5 is still like selling millions of copies every week. And I'm like, everyone who plays video games has to own this by now. Who else is buying this?
It's crazy.
I don't understand.
So let's play the original Grand Theft Auto.
I mean, I enjoyed it. I don't know. It's okay. Like, I don't know. I don't have anything crazy to say about it other than, like, I kind of just want to play Retro City Rampage.
But it gained controversy for its adult nature and violent themes.
Yeah, I don't really care. Because you know what else was violent and adult? Night Trap. Like, anything was adult
was
back
it
then.
Really?
No, but anything was considered adult back then. Like, this is, like, I know it's violent, but, like, honestly, this game was... It's boring. Like, I'm not saying it's not good, but I don't care to play it more than I did. You know? And it's also weird that people are calling payphones to give you missions, like, just hoping you pick up. Like, what if it wasn't, like, some random guy just being like, hey, alright, you gotta kill that guy in 15 minutes. I'm gonna drop off the pack. I'm like, oh, no, I'm not that guy. Keep calling.
Well, if you missed, what did you think about if you missed even a little bit of the mission conversation, you wouldn't know what to do.
Yeah, it's not good. Like it's that transition point in games where it had to be like dumb hard because like they didn't want you to rent it and beat it for a weekend. transitioning into like, this is a game you're going to sit down and beat and put time into. So like, you could save it and do all that, but like the missions are still stupid hard for no reason. You know, I know that was a weird jumble of words, but you know what I'm trying to say? Like, I don't know. Granted, it just wasn't structured well. It was like real rough around the edges, and I get it was their first game in this style, but
well, the game was originally for like the home computer systems, and it was nearly canceled because it wasn't. This one wasn't made by. Well, no, the company used to be called
DMA or whatever.
DMA, and then it became Rockstar.
Yeah. You know how this game came to fruition, by the way?
Do tell.
They were making some racing game. I forget the name of it.
Race and Chase?
Yeah, I think it was Race and Chase. And there were cops in the game that would chase you while you were racing. But for some reason, the cops were like crazy violent, and instead of like trying to stop you, they'd try to kill you. And they couldn't figure out the bug, but they were like, hey, this is kind of funny, let's just keep it. And then it became its own game, which evolved into Grand Theft Auto. So
it's funny that this game got that violent reputation, even with this first one, because we're going to go over a game later that is definitely a lot more violent that came out years before this one.
Right.
So, what did you think of the camera? That was like a fisheye lens, and it goes in and out and constantly zooming.
Sickening. I kind of wish they would stop that. That's probably another thing that really didn't help me want to play this, because it was like constant zooming in and zooming out, and it was almost hard to keep track of which little pixel I was running on the ground sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. This game's fine. It's not bad. It's just like, it's one of those things that's rough to go back to, because I'd rather play like 3, even 2. I like 2 better. I've played more of 2.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's definitely a franchise that has a reputation with upping its game with every iteration.
Yeah. Next time they should go like Grand Theft Auto and Larceny.
Like to see one about just setting buildings on fire instead of thefting autos.
Because that's the kind of media coverage that the video games need. We went from Grand Theft Auto to now 9/11 terrorist simulator. More details at 11. I'm like, oh fuck. Here we go.
Your mind went to a dark place.
I'm just saying. Eventually, it's going to keep getting worse and worse.
Oh man. Well, it's interesting that we're 2 for 3 on similar thoughts.
Yeah, it's an okay game. So you didn't love it either, then, or you did?
I could not play this game very long, and I found it pretty easy.
Yeah. You should play it on Game Boy Advance. That's the best version of this game.
Oh boy.
Oh, it's good.
Did you... Well, okay. What is the Game Boy Advance version like?
Oh, this is from, like, memory. Imagine this game, right? But 8-bit graphics, because they couldn't figure it out. And, like, one car on the screen at all times.
That sounds horrible.
Yeah, it's not great. And your automatic weapon is, like, 3 tiny white dots moving across the screen, and then you can fire again because it can't hand.
No, that does not sound good.
Oh, it's on Game Boy Color too.
Oh,
yeah,
that sounds worse.
We should have played this. We should have. All right, next theme: really shit versions of games. Like we'll play
Game Boy ports.
Yeah, we'll play Street Fighter 2 on Game Boy,
or just handheld ports in general.
No, it could just be real bad ports in general.
I kind of like the idea of handheld ports.
Yeah. Mortal Kombat 4 on Game Boy Color. It's got all the buttons you need.
I guess.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, Grand Theft Auto, it's fine, but you should probably play a better Grand Theft Auto.
Okay.
Or Gangstar on mobile. Yeah.
Well, the next one is a pretty well-known Sega game. Another one. Jet Set Radio, or Jet Grind Radio in North America.
Oh yeah, that's right. There's a name change.
Yeah, developed by Smilebit.
This isn't Sega first party?
Kevin? No, it's a Japanese developer though. That they did do a lot of Dreamcast games.
I thought this was Sega.
Quite a few at least.
I thought it was Sega first party.
No.
Oh, I learned something.
Yeah, they also did Sega Rally 2, Typing of the Dead. So,
I like this one. This is if you ever want me to play a game that even if it's bad, just make it cell shaded, and I'll probably love it. Which is why I automatically fell in love with Jet Grind Radio, Jet Set Radio, whatever this one's called. It's good.
Okay, my disc says Jet Grind Radio.
Why, you have a Japanese one? Or no, you have an American one. That's right. Oh, this is too confusing. Yeah. It's good. It reminds me a lot of something I played recently, which was Sunset Overdrive. I don't know if you played.
Yes. So if that was popular, so we based this one off of Splatoon, for your record.
Oh, okay.
Because you're going around painting cities essentially.
Yeah, it's it reminds me a lot. It's like Tony Hawk. Tony Hawk and Sunset Overdrive and Splatoon kind of met together and had like a reverse baby, I guess. I don't know. But it's good. I like going around the city. Like the skating felt smooth, and I don't know. There was just.
What did you play this on, by the way? Because you don't have a Dreamcast.
No, I played it on Vita.
That means the controls were much better.
Yeah, they were. I was going to say, I demoed this a long time ago on Dreamcast. My buddy brought it over. I was like, no. So the PSN port has done a little better for itself. I never got the fact, by the way, that you can walk up stairs on rollerblades. That guy does it with ease.
You've never tried that yourself back in the 90s?
Oh, yeah, I broke a tooth. So... there's that.
It would have been more funny if they showed the guy being animated, walking sideways up the stairs.
That's probably what they should have done, but 90s. I don't know. This game is real good. It's just, part of it screams to be played with somebody else, which is like the only thing I want to do. Like if there was some kind of competitive mode, I couldn't do it on Vita, but. I don't know. I
believe there was a competitive mode in Jet Set Radio Future on the Xbox. I'll have to check that out.
Does that qualify?
I'm not totally sure.
Does that qualify for retro enough for this podcast? Because I want to do that. Ooh, wait. Oh, never mind. I just had an idea for the next thing. Anyway, yeah, this was fun. It's kind of.
You know what? It does.
Ooh, we're doing that. Well, I like Jet Set Radio. I kind of feel like now that it's on like more modern stuff, it actually helps the graphical quality, which I can't use words today. We're doing this early. If like when you play on Dreamcast, like the composite video kind of doesn't help it for the art style because like obviously it's composite, it's washed out a bit. But if you play it on like PS3 or like Vita now, the colors really pop, which is good. Like that's kind of the whole point of this game, and it kind of made me want to play more just because how good it looked, and I like seeing like how the spray paint would come out.
I quite enjoyed it too. I don't know about. I mean, I hear exactly what you're saying about the colors popping more for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But what the game did was the characters were drawn kind of on this like flat paper like palette.
Cell shading.
Well, yeah. But there was something about what they were able to do for the Dreamcast that still made those colors pop, even though it was on composite.
Yeah, it looks still like really good. I'm not saying it looks bad, but
it holds up well.
Yeah,
it holds up well.
They should,
and the fact you can get it on Steam, Vita, a whole bunch of other places with the updated controls really helps.
When are we gonna get that Jet Grind Radio in 4K?
How much different would cell shading look?
It doesn't matter. It says 4K. People will buy it.
Were there any missions in this game in particular that irritated the piss out of you? Because I could think of a couple.
Not particularly. I kind of as much as I played of it, I kind of spent most of my time like Tony Hawking around the city because I was just like, this is fun. I ended up playing it more like Tony Hawk than like doing missions because of the limited time I had. But
right,
I like this game. This is like another one on the list. Like I'm gonna go back and beat, but I just need time.
So you didn't. So I take it then, since you were Tony Hawking it, you didn't go around location to location to try and get the city actually
spray painted,
graffitied.
I did a couple. I will say I do like the control concept of like moving the stick like you're spraying a can. Like I don't know, something about it felt natural to be like and like moving the stick and like as if I was spraying the can. Even though they were quick, simple motions, I felt like I was there. Because you use spray paints with controllers.
Well, shit, Kevin. It sounds like this
This is a Kevin
podcast
game.
episode is going well for you so far.
This is a Kevin episode and a Kevin game right now.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Well, good. I'm very happy that you're a Jet Grind Radio fan.
Well, now that I've gotten to dabble with it, I'm going to beat it. This has more been like a let's dabble in games I really like, and now I got a backlog bigger than I already have that I don't have time for.
Well, quickly moving along. Now, Destiny 2's coming out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you're familiar with this, and the first Destiny is still pretty popular. So, this game is also very popular. Space-like, shooting.
Those
A
were
lot of other elements I can't remember off the top of my head right now.
platformy.
Platformy.
Peter Dinklage robot.
RPG type of elements.
Yeah.
The game we're talking about is Turrican 2: The Final Fight. Now, here's where I need to clear this up for you, Kevin, alright?
Yes.
Turrican 2 came out on the Amiga, a lot of home computers, ZX Spectrum,
Mm-hmm.
if you're familiar with that. Then it was ported to the Genesis and Game Boy, but they reskinned it as Universal Soldier, which I didn't find out till later.
That got
'Cause
really
the Turrican series is pretty famous, so take it for what it's worth. It's still this wild Metroid, spacey, Terminator type game.
which was cool.
Yeah, Universal Soldier, for those that don't know, where it was a pretty bad Jean-Claude Van Damme movie.
Yay, he tried his best.
The movie was pretty bad.
Okay, fine, it was real bad, but still.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So did you play the home computer game, or did you play Universal Soldier? Either way, it's the same game, just different skins.
So I played Universal Soldier, and because it was just easier to find.
Correct.
I
agree.
I didn't know how to play this, so I was like kind of like looking for the end of levels, but it ended up being like a where do I go kind of game again. And in 2D, those are like not the best. So I really literally just played level 1. And I was like, where am I going? Help me! I'm scared.
That is a common opinion.
Yeah,
for sure. What did you think of the not being able to shoot up or diagonal or down?
I wanted to turn that gun on myself, but I couldn't because the controls wouldn't let me.
What did you think of the spike ball ability, or did you even figure out how to do it?
No, I got a spike ball, and it was just like, you have a spike ball. I'm like, how do I use it? You have a spike ball. Okay, thanks. This like made me not want to try Turrican, which I know is like a way better like series, I guess, if you want to split them. And probably the movie license pretty much like ruined this game. Like, I feel like if they didn't worry about making it Universal Soldier, probably was going to be a good Turrican game, but they were like, we got the license, let's ruin the shit. So.
What did you... So, a lot of the enemies were above.
Yeah.
And the way that the game's built for hit detection with you makes it incredibly difficult. You die almost immediately.
Your hitbox seems like
hit.
way too large, too.
It's hard. It's a hard game.
It's a hard game that could have been easily fixed with, like you said, like moving your gun up. Like that's like the one complaint I have with like Mega Man 2 is like, I there's many people above me. I just want to shoot, but like they purposely like handicap you for like artificial difficulty, and like it's never been more apparent than like when I was playing a game like this. Like it's almost like they did it on purpose.
It's a real shame, because I don't know if you know this, but in Europe, the Turrican series is massively popular.
Yeah, I always see European copies actually more than I see American copies of this.
Yeah, it's quite a shame, and the later ones, Mega Turrican in particular, is arguably one of the best spacey shooters out there.
Which, I don't know, I feel like they got so focused on making the license for this, like I said, that it ruined them making a good game. Which is unfortunate, but, you know.
Yeah, I was disappointed in this game myself.
They had that one gun that let you shoot up, but I also hated using it. That little area.
Yeah, so if you held down the shoot button, then you could... It was like a flamethrower type thing, it looks like. at least in the Genesis version. I watched some videos of the Amiga version being played, and it's more like a phase gun.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, you stop in your tracks, and you can only shoot. That's how you can shoot up, but it doesn't go very far up, and the enemies are usually twice above you anyways.
So it's useless, and you might as well just keep moving so you don't get hit.
Yeah. There was a lot of things that need to be fixed in this game for sure.
Mm-hmm. And you know what the sad part is?
What's the sad part?
I still want to go back and beat it.
Mm.
Like, this might be like a graphics horror scenario, but the game looks really good, and I like the way like the character animates. So part of it like just makes me want to. I know this isn't good, but I want to beat it. Like, it's just so close to being good, you know. At least to me, it's like
it's almost there, and I can speak from experience because I had friends that have the later Turrican games,
right.
Super Turrican on the Super Nintendo, Mega Turrican Genesis. Those are good. Can attest to those.
It's like when one game in a series is bad, you're like, no, you can't though. You have to be good.
Oh God.
I think that's why I like Resident Evil 6. People are like, you have to be good. Come on, don't do this. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna beat it eventually.
The last one is based off of PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, which is incredibly popular again. And this was we didn't. You brought up Unreal Tournament. We should have probably done that, but
I wanted a 3DO game in there. Let's just say it.
I wanted to kind of throw in an obscure title that's really weird and out there, and that's. I played PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds last weekend, and I couldn't agree more that the game is batshit crazy, makes no sense. It's for some reason fun. So that's how this game came to be. So take it with a grain of salt. The game is Quarantine on the 3DO.
I didn't like this. I don't like.
Did you figure out what to do?
No, you didn't tell me anything.
Did you bring up the map?
The what? There was a map?
There is a map.
No.
Did you run over people with your car?
Well, yeah, that was the only thing I figured you could do.
So Kevin, if you bring up the map, there's a lot of green dots everywhere,
mm-hmm.
and there's some shinier dots, and just for your clarity, you go pick up people like Crazy Taxi,
right.
Okay? Even though this came out way before it. You get a bunch of money, and then with that money, you can buy items such as a Gatling gun to put on your car, a giant saw, you know. So then we start going to kind of a Twisted Metal aspect, and again, came out before Twisted Metal.
Right.
And you go from there, and you unlock different areas and different missions, and you just continue on. The whole premise is you're trying to basically get your life back, the main character's life back, and it was ruined.
Mm-hmm.
But the story isn't really relevant, as opposed to just causing mayhem in the city and occasionally picking up a passenger who will give you money.
So it's like Apocalypse Crazy Taxi.
Yeah, with deadly car elements to it.
Mad Max Taxi.
Yeah, kind of. A lot of Mad Maxy feels to the game for sure.
That's pretty cool. I do.
So if you start playing the story more, but
there's a story.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's like playing PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, where at least in my experience, it was more fun to fuck around.
Yeah, but there was
and screw with people, and that's how I felt Quarantine was. I played it for an hour, just killing random people on the street, and I would get money to buy the guns,
mm-hmm.
and then just do it all over again with the new weapon.
The thing is, I knew going into PlayerUnknown that you're playing a game with no story, and this I was like, okay, there's a story, I have a goal. What am I doing? Hey. What am I doing? Yeah, I don't know. This is where the whole podcast comes to a stop for me.
Aw.
Sorry, buddy.
Well, I mean, it was a 3DO game. It was fun. It was dumb.
Kevin O'Nack.
I didn't quite care. I definitely won't go back and play the game for sure.
Yeah, no. I would return this on your what's it called? Your 3DO list, and just why don't you just get that away? Just put it back.
Yeah, well. Now, we've gone all over all the games, Kevin.
Mm-hmm.
Which one was your least favorite? Which one was your favorite?
Quarantine was my least favorite.
All right, expected.
Yeah. And my favorite would probably be, I don't want to say Metal Gear because, like, that was cheated. Beyond Oasis. I'll go with Beyond Oasis because I do love me some Zelda.
Good pick, Kevin. Good pick.
I love Zelda. It's so beautiful.
And what did you think of the theme itself?
You made a stretch on the whole PlayerUnknown Battleground one.
Oh, absolutely. I don't pretend to say otherwise.
Yeah. But I don't know. I didn't hate the theme. I'm just like, some of the choices that were making connections, I was like, JD's taking yoga because he's stretching a real lot right now. But it was good. Overall, like, I would do it, and actually gave me an inspiration for the theme I would like to pick when it's my turn.
You got one when it's your turn?
Yeah, whenever it's my turn. I don't know. Who's next?
It is Josh's turn next, actually.
Is Josh going to show up?
Yeah, I hope so.
I do too. I miss you, Josh.
Aw. Yeah, I mean, we need to get all three of us together again. It's 2 podcasts in a row now.
Yeah. Josh, you need to stop playing Final Fantasy for a little bit and join us.
Well, Kevin, I got some news for you, and Josh and I spoke about this earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I acquired a 3DO.
Did you?
I did.
Oh, because I couldn't tell. Have you recorded any 3DO games?
Oh, they're coming.
Okay.
I haven't recorded any yet. I've been a very busy guy.
I've been watching you play Sonic recently, so.
Yeah, it just finished.
Oh, good. I never beat a Sonic game. True story.
I just beat Sonic Mania last Friday. Yesterday upon recording this.
Nice.
Yeah.
I need to get Sonic Mania.
Fun game. Yep, Sonic is still hard. Last 2 acts, last boss, requires a lot. Requires patience.
Studiopolis. I want to play that zone because it looks cool.
So just for the record, there is going to be a 3DO special at some point, and we have had requests to do a 3DO special.
I have to borrow somebody's 3DO. I ain't buying one.
I would say, for your sake, just emulate your game, the games.
Fine.
But I'm gonna have to acquire the games. I got the list of games we're gonna do for the 3DO special. I just have to acquire them first.
Is Demolition Man on there?
Is not.
Well, then this is a waste of a list.
They're gonna be games that highlight the 3DO.
Demolition Man, come on. FMV.
And the other console special we've been suggested to do, but none of us own this, is a Sega CD. So I'm not sure if... I'm sure we're going to do it, but we're definitely going to have to emulate every game.
Deal. Someone's going to put Snatcher on that list, so I'm going to get real mad at him.
I'm putting Snatcher on that list for sure.
I hate.
Because I love that game.
That's a point and click, isn't it?
It is not.
Oh, I thought it was. Or is that Police Knots?
Yeah. So are you excited to play some 3DO games? Eventually? At some point?
Yay.
All right, Kevin. It was great having you.
Thank you, sir.
Well, we're going to take this back to the regular guys now.
Bye.
Quarantine was fun, but I still don't understand.
Dude, that game, I was just bored from the start. I was confused and bored and lonely and cold and tired.
You don't have to accept my logic. Just accept the fact that you played Quarantine.
Don't accept my logic. Just do as I say, damn it!
Like, what was the point of... Dude, you could have just explained Quarantine to me, and I'd be like, alright, I get it. You know?
Cool. Yeah.
There's nothing in that game.
So what are some modern games you can relate to some other retro games in the past? Just off the top of your head, if you can do that.
Would it be fair to go?
Because it's a lot harder than you think.
I think Mario Odyssey is a lot like Super Mario Bros.
Well, Super Mario
Or
64.
Mario 64.
I think just Mario in general. If we want to go way back, I think the way you jump in Odyssey is a lot like how you jumped in Super Mario Bros. Reminds me of that a lot.
I don't know. The other thing I was trying to avoid was picking a game that was a sequel or the original. The only exception was, of course, Grand Theft Auto. Just because it's so different.
Yep.
See how much the game has evolved.
Well, I mean, you could have also went with like a game like Saints Row.
I don't think that's retro
too new.
enough, though.
That's too new, though.
Yeah, it's too new.
Well, I mean, like GTA 2 Saints Row. That's what I mean. I mean, yeah, it's not the same thing, but
I think it was a difficult giving ourselves the year limit for coming up with these games. I think there were some difficult ones because some of these games, the genres are more influenced by games that are more recent, like PUBG.
I think it was a fun task, and it got us to play some interesting games nonetheless.
Yeah. Like what kind of current day game?
Leaps and logics thrown away.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, yeah. Quarantine.
Horizon Zero Dawn, we could have done maybe another. If we hadn't covered it already, maybe Dino Crisis or something.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Oh, that game.
Just because it's dinosaurs.
Well,
I would bring like Dino Crisis and Resident Evil.
Well, that's the other thing. Resident Evil, Silent Hill, Turok, things like that, right? So.
Yeah, but we've already covered
those. That's
those.
The thing. So there's a lot of the modern games that we could branch back are games that like we've already we haven't obviously covered all of them, but games we've already covered.
Yeah, we just kind of want to avoid that and play more new games. I've noticed that a lot of the puzzle franchise is pretty much over and dead, and that's the other thing. A lot of these older retro games, they just don't make them even remotely close to that anymore. The genres have changed quite a bit.
I mean, like, there's some puzzle games, like, The Witness was a puzzle game that came out recently that a lot of people really liked. I would compare that to Myst.
That would be my closest one.
One of my favorite games ever that's more recent would be Ori and the Blind Forest. You could heavily compare to, like, Metroid and Castlevania.
Well,
or Castlevania Symphony
of the Night. Platformers in general, right? Like, a platformer can...
Yeah.
So.
Pretty much any platformer you can drag back to the roots,
Yeah, absolutely. I'm trying to think of other ones. Like I'm looking at my collection here. Like I got Bloodborne, but then it's not like I can't think of any other super hard RPGs that were not permadeath, but that were tough like that in that style.
I'm sure there was a few.
I mean, you could bring up the Fire Emblem series, but that was turn-based.
Yeah, but then you can also bring. Have you guys ever played Enchanted Arms?
I think I have.
It's a 360 game, and it's grid. It's a grid lock.
Well, that's why I've never played it.
It's 360. So you get your own like 5x5 grid, and you get 4 people on there, and their attacks go certain directions and ahead of them, or like in a T or an X on their side of the map, shit like that. So yeah, I could compare Enchanted Arms to Fire Emblem, and things like that. But like, I could also do something stupid like Final Fantasy to Final Fantasy. All right, so
that'd
be just too easy.
Off the top of my head, I can't really think of one. Like, it's stuff like this that I'd have to actually take time to actually sit down and actually play a game and be like, oh, wait, this game is kind of like this, right? So.
Yeah. Yeah, the only one I was really able to do that with was Beyond Oasis.
Yeah.
On the podcast. Yeah. Speaking of which, it was my favorite game we covered for the podcast.
Yeah,
my least favorite was Grand Theft Auto.
My least favorite was Metal Gear.
My least favorite was Metal Gear. My most favorite was Jet Set Radio.
Yeah.
Drew, what was your most favorite?
My most favorite was Beyond Oasis.
All right.
Which is funny because usually I pick the good it doesn't matter. I pick the RPGs as my favorite because I'm a huge RPG player. But like this one, I was actually enjoyed that. I was really happy that I picked something different.
Yeah. Well, for the record, Kevin really liked Metal Gear.
I hate you, Kevin.
Oh my goodness!
Okay,
really?
Listen,
What were his arguments? Like,
you're just gonna have to listen to that part of the podcast because honestly, I don't remember.
Okay.
So basically, all we have to do now is don't worry about that. We take the cardboard cutout of Console Kevin, who's throwing the trash, and then we write on the back of it, "Metal Gear sucked."
Metal Gear sucked. Play the solid versions.
Play the solid version.
They were solid. You know what I'm saying? It was lit.
Yes, they were. Well, that's great. This was a really, really fun podcast filled with lit photosynthesis. I did it. I said it, guys. It happened.
And old games.
Now you need to get him to dab.
And old games.
And old games.
And old games.
Like Left 4 Dead 2.
I quite... Oh, man. I quite enjoyed the podcast. I loved the theme. I loved playing all the games, despite some of them being frustrating. But definitely found a new franchise I'm interested in continuing. That seems to be a theme with me for the podcast. Absolutely. I tend to always get at least one game out of it. I was
most interested in the stretch between quarantine and PUBG, but
yeah, that was. No, I'd look at the list. I feel like it just got worse and worse as you went down it.
He was just slowly, just over time. I'm just trying to go back to sleep, man. Okay, like leave me alone.
He got more disappointed.
I'm just so hungover. Leave me alone.
Your smile just diminished.
Oh man. Well, some of our closing notes is please send us questions. We definitely want to hear more from our community and audience. Definitely hit us up on Twitter. Drew, where can we find you again for the audience to know?
You can find me at color_z_ on Twitter and on Twitch. I Twitch stream a lot. You can tweet me and I'll argue with you about stupid subjects. YouTube is a thing. I'm not really plugging the YouTube yet because I still need to work on it a bit more, but I just hang around on the internet and do stupid stuff because I have nothing else better to do. So.
Well, speaking of not having much else better to do, now that my life's back all in check, and Drew, we have been talking quite a bit more recently coming up to this podcast.
Yep.
The big announcement is we are going to do a monthly modern gaming podcast on Red Leaf Retrocast.
Right. I knew that.
Where we're just gonna talk about some of the modern games that have come out over the past month, if we've had a chance to play them, what our opinions are. It's going to be a monthly thing, nothing too major. So the next one's going to be over the games that have come out in August. That'll come out at the beginning of September. Oof. I'm looking forward to it. Some of the games we're going to cover. Oh my God, August has been great. It's definitely a good point in the podcast to definitely come out with it. Some of the games we're going to cover is the new Sonic Mania game, the new Uncharted game, Uncharted Lost Legacy that's coming out, Hellblade, which I'm looking forward to talking about the most. As I mentioned earlier in the podcast, it's in the running
There's definitely
for my game of the year.
There's going to be a couple games that are just going to get gushed about a little bit longer than others. One person's going to be like, all right, everybody, go get your drinks. I'm just going to drop a speech on this game for a couple hours. And
unfortunately, I think games coming out in the last week of August are going to be held off for the September one. A game like Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle.
Yep.
I think we'll end up talking about that in the September one that we're going to cover.
I'm so excited for that game.
I'm looking forward to that game. I'm looking forward to the podcast. I'm looking forward to talking with Drew a lot more and getting his opinion. Yeah. And he'll probably be talking a lot more about first-person shooters, and I know that'll...
I think there'll be, when it comes to these games, it'll be like, all right, JD, why don't you talk more about this than me? And then we'll just throw certain genres back and forth, because I think everybody's interested in certain types of games a little bit more and has a little bit more knowledge on certain types of games.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah.
Josh, if you got the time, we'd love to have you on that as well, since you are a Red Leaf Retrocaster
Hell
yourself.
Yeah, I am. Forever. I'd have to let you guys know on that. I got a lot of other... I actually do have a lot of other stuff that I'm doing. Not just this, not just YouTube. Like, I got a lot of other internet community stuff. Like, I'm actually doing some voice acting for some people for a series that they're doing, which is actually...
Plug that shit. Come on,
I can't yet. It's not done, but...
it's not, man. I'm looking forward to that on the horizon. Then
I'm happy about that because that's one of the reasons I got into doing YouTube, and with this too is because I would love to be a voice actor. That's one of the things I would love to do. So hey, if anybody has any voice acting gigs up there, I'll be more than happy to take that.
Josh, I could actually hook you up better. We could plot to kill Nolan North.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah, well, that action of killing Nolan North will probably get you more jobs.
Okay, perfect. So we'll work on that in the off time. But
Yep.
yeah.
All right. Good.
Oh no.
But yeah.
Troy Baker, Nolan North, dead. CNN tomorrow.
All right.
Eesh.
All right, guys. This was the special episode 10 with colors on the Red Leaf Retrocast.
Dun, dun,
And what music should we have taking us out?
The Final Fantasy VII Battle Wind theme.
How about one of the ones we covered for the podcast?
Okay, let's do
As my phone rings.
Dude, Jet Set, something from Jet Set
do
Radio.
something from Quarantine. Called it.
No. Get some punk rock from Jet Set Radio.
You got it. You'll find out later.
Or that Skrillex song from Black Ops 2.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye-bye.